kasih sayang
He's got the ball. Oh, are you ready?
Hi, g'day everyone.
Sorry, is that me? That's me.
The brick boards here. At least I know the sound's working.
Because I thought children don't fall from the sky and all of a sudden are 8 years old and build Legos.
No, I'm not. Honest, I'm not.
Backlog doesn't mind sitting there a little longer.
Thing sitting there. It's on the landing. It's in the hallway. It's. It might not mind sitting there, but I trip over it every so often.
People real careful.
Exactly. That's such a good idea. Do Rebels versus Stormtroopers or something, and then I can have it in an every Lego Star Wars mock or something.
We should have possibly Brigger Picks. Sorry, joining us a little bit later on. Same thing, just backwards.
Yeah. I see how you're moving it, so I can't reach.
No, oh, come on, these videos are cheating. Because they've got way more Lego in play. That's
mock here, and I've got my mock there, and Stranger Things set there. Not very organised.
I have to show you this. Oh, no, I have to show you this. No, I have to show you this. This is what Isn't that amazing?
Because this is the first ever time I've been on the live, I didn't want to build anything too big or have anything too complex, so I'm going to attempt to build that.
Get him some wings.
He's so cool. No, I don't want to be a chicken. Don't make me a chicken.
G'day everyone, and welcome along to the Family Bricks live stream on a Thursday night. This is number 18, and one day we'll figure out the proper name for it. Hope everyone out there is going well. Wasn't able to be here last week because I was off traveling, but it did look like that Bonnie's Bricks, Maxine, was filling in, having a bit of stream there, and that all seemed to go well. So that's great to see. And just got a very special guest on tonight, so we'll quickly get through the sort of bits and pieces and get straight into it. The usual sort of things: share, like, and subscribe, all that sort of stuff, depending on where you're watching it. And the replay gang, always impressive. As many views after the stream as what we do beforehand. And a shout out to Brian Bricks. If you are watching this afterwards and you leave a comment just saying that you watched it or something like that, then I will give you a shout out in the next one. So he's always one of the ones who's watching it back, which is always great to see. And in the poll, beyond that side of the video there, just a basic question tonight: have you played with light kits or anything like that? So just kind of interested to see how that's going. And quickly say hello to the chat. So welcome along to Minty Bricks. Hope that you're going well. Good to see you in. And I think we'll just do the quickly play the sponsor, which helps just pay for a few little bits and pieces here, which keep the lights on. And it's always good to have that.
This video is brought to you by McCatsim Holiday Homes in Margate and Broadstairs. Great for a week's holiday or a weekend escape, being just over an hour east of London, UK. Treat yourself to amazing sunsets, a Lego wall, or great food. Visit www.macatsim.com and mention this YouTube video and we'll look after you.
So with that out of the way, we'll start bringing some people in, and we'll start off with someone who had a video go out recently, which has done quite well. So as we're kind of joking around a bit earlier, this might be one of the last times that we see him on here. He'll be shooting up with the numbers and become all important for us. So welcome along, Trevor. How are you going this evening?
Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm very well, thank you. You?
Yeah, going well, going well. So it's nice to have that sort of little week off and just refresh and everything like that. But how are you going?
I'm doing brilliantly, thank you. The vlog, which I uploaded last Friday, has absolutely flown. 1,500 views for that. So, yeah, really pleased. That's gone beyond my expectations. So, don't know what's going on with it, but please do check it out and watch it.
Yeah,
I'm
check
famous.
it out. It's certainly, as with everyone. He's I have the links around just YouTube channels or Instagram down below the videos, so you can check that out there. So yeah, we'll certainly have a bit of a chat about that, because it's always good when you put a video out and you always hope that they do well, but then, you know, it's always up to the lap of the YouTube algorithm as to whether or not that does actually happen.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. So,
and as Minty's saying there, it's a good watch as such. So we'll just quickly get along and say hello to someone who, from what I've seen on their Instagram recently, they've been adding some more shelf space in and around everywhere. So definitely looking at, I guess, clearing out some stuff and getting it organized. So welcome along to Lady McBrick. How are you going?
Hi there.
How you go?
The beauty, the one, the
There
shelves. Now I need to decide whether the thing that I did on this area, I want to do on this area too.
I think that would look rather nice.
Yeah, I'm very tempted, because then
The more space, the better.
Yeah, more space, and it would look like a layered city.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Instead of a bare white wall, I was tempted to have something colorful behind it. I don't know, sky, clouds, something like that. But now that this really nicely works out, maybe it would be an option to have just billy shelves behind it, because it's really not much depth taken by it. So would be really space well used, hopefully. But for that, I will give it some time.
It's always the sort of thing we can very quickly fill up space and everything. So I think it'll probably be a good idea to plan ahead for that one. So,
right. And I really am afraid that if I add too much space-wise, it wouldn't be that much of a problem, because I have, I don't know, 2 by 2, 3 by 3 meters in the middle of the room still free. So it wouldn't make so much difference if I just move the table 30 centimeters into the room. It's just I don't want the space to look I don't know, depressing, as if, or looking as if it were collapsing in on me. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no, it's certainly something which you can sort of, as you're filling up the other one, have a really good think about it as well. So, excellent.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of trying to do a weird segue here, but filling up people's goodie bags, I guess, with having hit their 1,000 subs, getting out all the, I guess it's merchandise as such. Welcome along to Tech's Productions, or Planet Tech, get that right.
How you doing? Hello. How's everyone doing?
Good, thank you.
Oh, very good, thank you. Yeah, it's quite hot.
I'm hot on you. I'm hot on your
well,
heels. I'm hot on your heels.
Might be too far away then. So, you having is it me, or is there a bit of delay with tech, or is it probably just me again?
I don't know. Is there a delay?
No, seems fine.
Okay then. All right. I did go through and turn off all the Alexas beforehand, so I was trying that. Right. So,
That's a good. Do you know? That's a good shout. I will do mine quick, just in case it is me. I will be.
And our special guest this week, who I've been wanting to get on for a little while, and then I guess kind of the stars are sort of aligned as such, and is one of the, I guess, the new driving forces behind Good Morning Brick World, which is always a great little watch and everything like that, and certainly getting out on a lot of the social media things and helping with all the interaction that way. It's welcome along, Amber Builds. How are you going?
Hi, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Hey, Amber.
Hi. Well, I guess how about everybody else?
Yeah,
How's everybody else doing?
Well.
Very
Yeah,
good.
no, I'm excited to be here. I was mentioning backstage, like I was able to work something out with my boss to get a long lunch, so I'm excited.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, it's just managed to pop in at the right time just before we got started. So I'm just sort of getting, it's like, hi, yep, we're getting started now. So, I guess we'll start off because we were sort of talking about it a little bit backstage, but at least, Tech, you're heading out to Chicago Brick World next week.
I am. Yes, on Wednesday I leave, and I'm very excited. There might be someone on the panel that I may run into at some point, hopefully, because I think Amberla is going. Am I right, Amberla?
Yes, and I have something for you. So,
as do I. But yeah, no, it's going to be really good fun. I think there's a ton of. I mean, I went last year and it was such a blast. But like I was watching a bit of Cali Brick Click from last week, and like Cheesy Studios, just everyone that seems to be talking about it is like, yes, I'll be in Chicago. Like, so there's going to be a lot of people there. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous, I guess. Just big social crowd. I'm gonna drain the social battery for a few days, but no, I'm looking forward to it. It should be really good. If it's half as good as last year, it will be amazing. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I take it you're going along as well?
I am. This is my very first convention. I've never been to one. I was joking on one of my, well, not joking, but I was talking about on one of my streams about how I've, like, other than Legoland, I've never seen a mock in person. So this is like going to be my first time seeing like these insane mocks, like the ones I normally see on Instagram and everything. And it's really fun because obviously I'm going to promote myself a little bit, Amberla Builds, right? But I'm also going to, kind of promote a little bit of more Good Morning Brick World and reach out with the community and stuff. So I'm gonna get there Tuesday morning. Because when I was first talking about this, they're like, no, you need to be there for the whole thing. So I'm going to be there Tuesday morning all the way through. I think I leave on Monday morning. And I am so excited because I've never met anybody in person yet, like nobody. And so I am nervous too, because like, it's like you feel like you know people when you chat and then you see them online and you're like, hi, this is weird.
There's definitely that initial thing of like, we've spoke to each other like online so much, and then you go and then you're like, oh, maybe I was a bit overly friendly because like I've not actually met you in person yet, but like most
it's a thing. So I'm gonna probably be a little shy at first, but I've been telling everybody like, please come up and say hi to me. I will warm up. It's just one of those things where my personality, I can be a little shy, but I will more than likely be shoving a brick in everybody's face with a Sharpie and asking them to sign it. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
That's amazing. Yeah, and recognition. I guess some are easier. I'm sorry.
Matt's delay again.
Oh, okay. I just was thinking that I never have met anyone at all, so I would really be afraid that at least on a convention, those would all be Lego fans. But could you imagine you just meet someone and I would think, that's Thomas, just hugging and hey, and this person not being Thomas. So I'm thinking, German lady, overly friendly.
No, like I said, it was really weird actually, because I've met a few people like in the UK, whether it be at conventions or just like arranging to meet up with them at the Lego store or things like that, and it's all quite nice having that many people. Like, you turn your head and you recognize so many people, and like people recognize you that you didn't think would, and it's a kind of crazy dynamic. But it's weird to see the kind of the people that you would think would be like very, very shy and very, very timid and like I don't know. Yeah, just that, like, really come out of their shell and be like super, super chatty. And like for example, TJ was someone that I'd streamed with quite a bit, like on London Calling and things like that.
Yeah.
And on obviously TJ, the nicest guy, right? But
Right.
on those live streams in like bigger groups, he didn't all really say that much. But there was so many times that we were just having it, like just me and him wandering around the convention hall, just hanging out, chatting, like, and it was so good that I got to interact with TJ on that level. And like I know him so much better now, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him again this year and doing the same. Like, yeah, it's gonna be great. And then, yeah. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. I seriously consider next year to go to Chicago. I first thought I go to New York in September because it's a special year and we want to meet. And then I thought, oh, why not? Why not go in June to Chicago and then in September to New York? There are 3 months in between. I will.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Honestly, I find it hard. I think you would really struggle to find someone that goes and regrets it. Honestly, the convenience of like if you choose to stay at the hotel that the convention center is attached to, the convenience of like if you do want to dip out, if it does get overwhelming, you can just like little couple-minute walk and you're in your hotel room and you're in your space and it's all fine. And but even just like hanging out in the most nights we would just all hang out in the lobby. Like the bar would close, but we'd just stay up with like mingling with loads of different people I've met. So like I didn't really know a lot of like the Instagram Lego community other than like following them and stuff, but like actually interacting with them. So getting to speak to those guys was great. I think there's going to be a ton of like TikTok people here this year, which is going to be new. I think there's going to be a load of Lego Masters and things like that. So yeah, like I said, I think you'd be really hard pushed to find someone that goes and honestly regrets it. So
right,
yeah, that's my glowing recommendation.
And here's me sitting looking forward to Bricktastic next year. I'd like to go to that.
Honestly, Bricktastic,
I've never been to that.
Bricktastic is great too, especially for the UK, and it's the best. I think it is the best show in the UK as well, and it is that, but just scaled down a bit because in America, everything's just 10 times bigger.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah, you have the best donuts ever.
So, Embolier, as your first sort of show, I mean, you were saying that you're going to promote yourself a little bit. What are you sort of hoping to sort of do and see people and get out of it, I guess?
So the reason that I joined the Lego community in the first place is that I was watching these live streams and stuff because I had no idea there were adult fans of Lego. You know, it was just something I did with my kid. And so I was like, this is amazing. They're so awesome. And I was watching these streams and I thought to myself, I want to be in this community. I want to be a part of it. I want to hang out. These people seem so awesome. And that's why I started streaming, is I wanted to build community and hang out with people, even if it's virtually. And so what I'm really hoping to get is possibly an opportunity to connect with people who I haven't really been able to connect with online. To maybe build deeper connections with people who I have been on streams and things with, but just haven't been able to be, in person. And, just that's the big thing is I'm hoping to come away with a whole bunch of new friends. Like that is my goal, is I want to come away and be like, oh my gosh, I have all these new friends and it's so amazing and I love it. And I can't wait to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is it? I mean, it's a blessing and a curse because you will now be tied into Chicago every year, because like when else does everyone get together? And it's just so convenient. That's the one downside. True. If I could plug one from it, is that you feel obligated to go because you're never gonna have that many people all come together. But
that's true.
It's a good problem to have, I guess. As well.
Can you guys do me a favor?
Yeah.
For next year, can you tell me when the announcement is that tickets are on sale? And because I think when it was far too late for this year, that hotels is tricky, because if you want to have one near, then you should do it right away. Mm-hmm. The reservations, and I think I only got a couple of weeks ago. that I realized, oh, Chicago, June.
Yeah. So the hotel situation was a bit crazy this year because last year, Brickwell got a hotel block for the convention hotel, and I think it sold out in about May, whereas this year I think it was sold out by like end of February. So the demand was like so much more. They have got a hotel block at another Holiday Inn, and they are running shuttle transportation between the hotels all weekend, which is something. And the Schomburg Hotel it's not the cheapest. It's a very nice hotel, but it's not the cheapest. So if people are looking for an alternative, then that's actually quite a nice option to have. But yeah, I will keep you posted. The other thing is like if you, I think, am I right? I'm like, it's like pay when you get there anyway, right? So you don't actually put any money for the hotel, or have I got that wrong?
Well, yeah, most hotels, they take a deposit, right? When you first do it, they charge like a certain amount to insure. And like you never pay for the hotel till everything's all done anyway, because they have to decide how much they're going to charge you. They usually put like when you check in, right? You have to give them the card again, and they put this like big, like they lock this money aside, right? Just in case you do something crazy. But yeah. And I was going to say, I would be more than happy next year to split a hotel with you, a hotel room, because I'm just sitting there by myself this year. And I don't take the family because I cannot. I have a 9-year-old. She would even be 10. It's just 7 days of trying to entertain her. She would be completely bored. So if you're interested for next year, I would be more than happy to share a room. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be great. I love it. I already have a bed to sleep in.
Yes, perfect. Yes, we could stay up all night and talk Lego.
I love it.
Matt, do you think you'll make it out there?
Cool. It's the sort of thing, the more that I see these, the more sort of FOMO that you get, because certainly Bricktastic, by the time that all you guys did everything, it's like, yeah, I really need to do that. And and I keep on seeing the stuff for Chicago. So it's sort of like, yeah, I really do need to think about that one. But the only downside to that is what you were just saying before. Once you go, you want to go then every year. And so like, whoa, that could get a bit. But no, it's much the same. I think there's only been a handful of people, like we obviously streamed a lot during COVID. And then it wasn't until we started getting unlocked and you start to meet people, and much the same sort of thing. It's sort of like, because you've streamed with people for so much, you kind of get you know them, and then you meet them, and it's kind of like really quite surreal. And I guess the main thing, which for some reason always pops up, it's like, oh, you're shorter, you're taller, you're
human, you're not built out of bricks.
I'm sure you saw. Did you see Shai's video last year that he did around Chicago, where it was like him going to meet everyone, and then everyone was just like 10 times taller than him? It was very funny. It's just meeting like everyone you could imagine, and it's just like he's just so much shorter than everyone. It's great.
And then you got the minifigure who is saying, come to UK next year, Amberlio. So it looks like you're going to get roped into some of those.
I would love an excuse to go to the UK. I've never even left the US ever, ever. So I would love an excuse. Be like, sorry, I have to go to the UK for a convention.
You'll have to come to Bricktastic then, and then I'll go next year as well, because that's what my plan is.
I'm planning. Me and Sam are gonna do a collaboration mod for Bricktastic, and it's bold to say the least. So I'm really hoping we can pull it off. But if we do,
sounds exciting. It sounds very exciting.
We are. It's the most excited I've ever been about like a Lego project that I've taken on, and like the Scarif one that we're doing this year for this summer. I'm like super hyped about. But yeah, next year if we can pull this off, it's going to be big. So yeah, be at Bricktastic next year. I
feel like I need to go.
Exactly. There we go.
Given your expected mock in September, I think you need to make as much progress as you can before that.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be. I'm hoping to wrap up like the Scarif one by the end of June, And then the first time I'm displaying that is actually I'm taking like a small chunk of it to a convention up in London in July, then the end of July, and then October is when we're displaying that one. But hopefully I'll have it. Well, I'll have it done by July, and then yeah, I'll be working on that one next. So I've kind of worked it that I'm not using too many pieces in this mock that I will be for that mock, so I can kind of be kind of be a bit smart of how I'm working with things. But yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm anticipating it's a Star Wars one.
It is indeed, yes. That's all. That's all I'll say, though. That is all I'll say for now.
I was gonna say, can we tease something out of you, just a little bit, a little something?
What else could I tease? Let's just say it's gonna have a lot of moving parts.
Ooh,
that's what we'll go with.
We'll go with that. Okay, then.
Yeah.
All right. So cool. We'll try to tease a little bit out each week, sort of thing. But just getting back to, I think the only one who hadn't spoken about it was Trevor. Are you getting somewhat inspired for Chicago next year, maybe?
I think I'm going to do Bricktastic next year, and then I may do Chicago. It's something that I would like to think about. Yeah, in the near future. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Excellent. All right, then. We might just take a quick little spin around and see what everybody is sort of working on, sorting, or doing this evening. And starting off with Amber Lyle, what are you sort of working on during our lunch hour as such?
Yeah. So I'm notorious for taking forever when I build something on stream. I can't help it. And I am continuing to work on my Mandalorian Starfighter. So this is the wing, which I got almost done with and then realized there was a mistake. And in chat, we decided I should just, instead of trying to figure out what mistake I made, was just like take it apart and start over. So I have finally made it back to where I started. Yeah. So, and found the mistake was super simple, super simple. Would have been an easy fix, but it would have taken me forever to find. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this wing done. And if I could possibly get the other wing done, that would probably be a record for me on a stream.
Nice.
Okay, nice. We'll check back later and sort of see how far I managed to get with that one. We'll move along the bottom there as well. And Tech, what are we working on? Is it more bits of Scarif or?
It's parts organizing and sorting for Scarif, so my build streams can go nice and swimmingly. I've got some bricklink orders that I'm just checking off. I've got everything, and then yeah, it'll be just kind of organizing things. So I want to basically condense down my parts to the parts that I want to use for the mock and have them in a couple of trays, and just so that they're to hand and I'm not pulling out drawers from here, there, and everywhere when I'm building, because that's the worst thing, especially on a stream when you're trying to interact with people as well. You want everything to just be kind of to hand. So that's what I'm gonna try be productive here to set up a smooth running stream for next week.
Excellent. In terms of this mock, how have you sort of approached it? Have you done some of it in Digital Designer, or you sort of got a rough idea here and just sort of winging it, or what's your sort of approach?
So I've done for anyone that doesn't know, there's a group of us and we're going to be doing a huge Scarif collaboration mock, and we've kind of drew out each of the sections that we want highlighted from the film, some of the key parts of it. And we've assigned each person a section, and so because I've got the UCS 8080, I'm going to convert one of those into a ATACT, which is it's in universe it's bigger, but I've just I'm just going to change the panels on the ATAT to the orange door that they have, and change a couple of the cannons, but so I'm going to have that going through the water, and then there's going to be a small little island that I'll have some rebel troopers running away from. But yeah, so the conversions for the AT-80 I've done on Studio. I just need to order the parts for those now, actually, so that's all good. And then the other stuff I'm just going to, because it's because it's like natural terrain, I find that really hard and kind of a bit of a waste of time building in studio first, because I think that sort of stuff is better when you kind of just don't overthink it. I think sometimes you can, and I've done it before, like I've built on studio some like foliage areas, and I'm like, you look at it for so long and then you try to recreate it exactly how it is on the screen, and you're like, oh, I think I'm overcomplicating this. So I've got a drawing of like the rough layout of what I want it to be. I'm going to have a crashed ship in part of the water as well. So yeah, I'm just going to go off my drawing really, and then see. And then if while I'm away in Chicago, I get some time to dabble in studio, I might play around with some things. But the other thing that's really good is that because it's a collaborative build and we want it to be cohesive and coherent, we're all kind of like working together on like the designs for the trees, because we want them to all look similar, if not the same. So it's not like you've got to come up with absolutely everything on your own. That's been quite a fun part to do, to be part of the collaboration with, is that because this one, unlike any of the other ones we've done before, we're actually like putting them together. Before, we've done stuff that we've kind of picked a theme or a planet or something like that, or a brief, and then we've built to that brief, and each mock has been our own individual thing. But this one, yeah, we're actually like pushing together, and it's going to be one visual thing. So yeah, it's taken some work, but we're getting there, and some of the guys are making some really good progress as well. So I'm very excited for it. I'll read that. Sorry. I'm with you there, Tech. I have rock work to do, and we'll just do it in real life. It's too much fab. Exactly, and it's so hard and tedious to then try recreate what you've done in studio in person if it's not something that needs to be exactly how you've got it. So yeah, I just think it's quite time consuming. So, but yeah, that's what I'll be doing this evening anyway.
Cool. Yeah, certainly knows with there's sometimes when you're doing mocks and pieces, there's some things which when you're physically doing it, it's just easier to see it, and and a lot of it's that sort of nature and foliage and things, just sort of getting a sense of once you're putting some parts down, then how, the composition, sort of what it looks like relative to everything else that you're sort of putting down on it. And because sometimes, I don't know if you find it, you have an idea in your head and you start executing it, and it's sort of like, actually, that's kind of not quite working. We need to tweak that a bit.
Yeah, studio is a great tool, especially like for me early on. Like I still don't really, I kind of have a sorted parts collection, but it's not anywhere that's like a really smooth system to work from. So just having each piece at your fingertip on studio is great and fantastic, and it also can save you a lot of money, because you can just order the parts list. You can export the parts list and just order those pieces, rather than getting pieces that you think you might need and then don't end up using them, and that's not very cost effective. But there are definitely times where I think it is always better just to be working in physical bricks, and even just working with different colors, and like just using the piece that's not the right color, but then you just kind of make a list and then go order those pieces in later.
Yeah, substitute it, and certainly know what you mean in terms of, at least with studio, the exact numbers, whereas other times you're like, well, I think I need 20 of those, and you go to the seller and they've got like 50 of them for sale, and you're like, well, I don't want to waste the postage. Do I get 50 of them? Does this make sense? Like,
yeah, my toxic trait is having a parts list or a wanted list on Bricklink, clicking through to go through and pay for it, and it's like a nice reasonable amount, and then you're like, oh, but that store I've spent like 7 pence and I'm gonna pay like £3 shipping, so like let's go see what the store's got. And then like £20 later, you've chucked a couple of minifigures in there and some more parts that you think you might use but you never end up doing. It's like, oh well, that wasn't and then before you know it, your order's like tripled in value. You're like, what have I done?
So I have to share, because I just recently started using Bricklink Designer, the program, right?
Yeah, Studio.
Or Studio, sorry.
Yeah.
And because for Chicago, I built mocks, or not mocks. Hello. Well, I guess they're mocks. I built little like brick heads of each of us from Good Morning Brick World. And so I had done TJ's first and I designed it completely in there. And I just go on and I just straight export the list of pieces and just bought it, like bought all the pieces, didn't even look like, you know, who I was getting them from or anything. And it was like $100 for one brickhead. And I was like, okay, I can't do that next time. But I was just like on my merry way, putting things together and like didn't even think about, like, I just checked out and I was like, oh my goodness, I should have looked at the price. And I missed that where there's like one place, like I got these shipments in of like 3 1x1s and I paid for shipping for that.
Yeah. There's one thing that I would love for studio to do is, so like if you type in like 1x2 brick on the side, right, and you use a piece and then it goes in there, they have every 1x2 that's ever been used, right? And it could have been out of production for 20 years, but it can still be there and it will look exactly like the brick that you want to use or you think is being produced today. And so that's all. I imagine a lot of that you probably could have culled the price if you had known that those pieces were like old mods and things like that. So I really think that studios should try to integrate something of like, this part is still being produced now, or even just having like pound signs in the corner of each piece, like £1 sign or £3, like just to make it, or dollars or whatever, like just to make it a bit more clear when you go through, because that can be tricky.
Well, I have seen on the pieces the dollar signs, right, to kind of give you an idea of pricing. But one of the challenges that I came across was when I was doing one of mine is that apparently a particular piece was only ever in like one set, and it came with 2, and it was like, I think it was a poly bag for Disney princesses, or a super small set for Disney princesses that came out like 3 years ago. And so trying to find that part, like I would love the ability to kind of like, as you're picking parts, like they know how many people are selling those, right? Like, could they tell us like how available the part is, right? Like, is it something that like people are, I mean, the price is helpful, but if there's like only 2 sellers, maybe I should pick a different part.
And like if you could pick a region as well, because like really, I mean, since we left the EU, ordering from Europe now is like crazy. It used to be like quite lucrative if you were looking for like large quantities of like 1 or 2 pieces. You could bulk order pieces in quite well. But if you're like doing a very specific build and you just need this one piece and it's not in your country, then it would be nice to know that at the design stage, because when you get to the end, you're so sold on the design. And I've definitely overpaid for pieces because I'm like, oh, I'm just too stubborn to change it, and I really like how it finally looks. But if you knew that at the time, you could probably like, okay, I'll try to work around it. So,
exactly.
Yeah. I find very much if I'm doing something in studio, I allow for that sort of pass. You're sort of going through and you're going, okay, this is what I want and everything like that. But I'm going to export this to Bricklink, try to see what's available, much like what you're saying, Tech, in terms of in quantities or things that make sense. And then figure out like Ambularia, you're saying, is there one part that I've used which is only available in one set, and America's got 600 of them and Europe's got 1? So then you can go back to your model and then start retweaking it, because you can sometimes look at it, and I've done that before, and sort of like you export it out and something was like 200 pounds. And then when I looked into it, there was like 150 of it was tied up in about 10 pieces. And it's like, okay, let's just go back and change those few.
Well, what was interesting is as I was finishing my last one, because I was finishing mine, is I started to look at some of the pieces, because you go through that process of like, okay, like that piece available in a color. Because for example, I was doing hair, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I want like this piece for the hair. Well, guess what? That piece never comes in that shade of brown. So it's like, okay, I have to go back and kind of figure out maybe a new color or a different piece. And so you do all that, and then you go to Bricklink, and then you're like, okay, like what's available? There's this whole process that kind of comes up. And I had gotten to a place where I like those hard to find pieces. What I did was I looked them up. I looked to see what sets they were available in, and if there were any sets that were recently released or able to purchase. Because I was like, you know what? Like, so I bought. Okay, please don't hate me. I'm not big into Lord of the Rings. I do not know the names of the characters. But there was a brick head that has one of the elf people and like a knight or king person. And it happened to have 2 pieces that I needed in the right color. And I was like, you know what? It's worth it because I'll probably pay the same amount to get them shipped from somewhere. And I just get all the pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
So I found myself doing that. And I also found myself putting some things together a little not the best connections, but I'm like, people shouldn't be touching them at the mock table. So it'll be okay.
It'll be fine. Yeah, because there was years ago, before they brought out the proper DeLorean, you had Dave Slater had done a version for Brick Vault, and so I got all that, and the actual rinse screen that they used for that particular one only came out in one set ever, and it was like a creator car type set or something. And when I went on to Bricklink to get the part, that windscreen was like £50. So then I went on to eBay, and you could get the whole set new for 40. So it's like, okay, I'll go buy the whole set, get the whole.
Yeah.
So, you know, because that DeLorean, by the time you put it all together, it was something like, as a mock, it was like £350, and there were quite a number of, like, the windscreen was only in one set. There was a cable which ran on the outside of it. Again, it was in a particular blue that was only in one set, and there was a few other things like that. So, but that's the other thing that you'll find is you go and you do it, and you go, well, if I go out and buy a brickhead, it's like £10 or $15 or whatever, and then when I make it up myself, they're like 30 because you are trying to get certain pieces and across multiple different sellers, and by the time you factor in postage, so you start to get a bit of an appreciation of the sets and the prices actually being good for what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I will say that designing the brick heads for everybody, I have a newfound love of brick heads. I have been enjoying those builds.
That's
They're
dangerous.
small, but they're so
Yeah,
interesting.
dangerous.
Well, oh no, I mean, I now have a whole bunch in my. I have 2 stands now that I have them filled in, and so yeah. But I love them.
Yeah.
They do have quite a charm to them. Actually, I was very much at first like, I really not keen on these, but
Exactly.
I built a custom. There's like a rebrickable of a Darth Maul one, and that was really quite fun. So I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I was speaking about like expensive parts, right? So to have his horn, they used for his horns on the side of his head, the horns that come in the cow mold, like the cow gets a mold, and then there's 2 like curved horns that go into the side, right? You wouldn't think it would be an expensive piece, right? But in tan, they had like 2 of them in a set from like 2012, and they were so expensive. And I was like, it's 2 pieces. I really like this Darth Maul. Like, it's cool. I'm gonna buy it. Didn't end up building the brickhead for quite a while. Like, I just had all the pieces together, and then when I come around to building it, out of curiosity, I was just like looking at how much that part was, and it had dropped significantly, and there was tons on the market because of the Harry Potter Hungarian horntail. There is like tons of them in there. There's so many. I was like, no. But I mean, it's fine. I was happy to pay it at the time, and so that's what I hold on to. But yeah, it's just it's just one of those things, isn't it? But yeah.
yeah, that's you find that sometimes when people do designs with like relatively new pieces, like things which have only been released in the last year or so, is you try to get them, and they can be
20p, 40p per piece or whatever, and you leave it for 6 months or 12 months once they've been in a rush of other sets and the price really drops out of it. So with some of those, like what you're saying though, it's such a key feature on that Darth Maul. It's not like you can just substitute it for something else easily.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like I could have used like the white horns because they're like so readily available, but the other horns that he had are tan, and his horns are definitely tan. Or you could have used like a straight horn, but it didn't quite look right. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But it happens. It's the chance you take, I guess.
The way you do it. So, just in general, Amberlye, what's sort of your the themes that you gravitate to, or you're sort of buying, or do you go just off the theme, or is it just what takes your fancy?
So, and I've mentioned this a few times, like on Good Morning Brick World and stuff. Like I have very limited space to display Lego and things like that. So I can't buy every set that I think looks cool, right? Also, I don't have that kind of disposable income, so I have to be kind of careful about what I purchase. And what I end up buying are things that, when I look at them, they have like a meaning to me, right? Like I feel like a connection with it. Or the other reason I might buy something is just because it has a really interesting build. And so I know I'm going to love building it. And those will be the ones that I'll eventually take apart and put the pieces like into my inventory. And then there'll be the ones that it's more about like displaying them and doing that. In regards to like the themes that I do gravitate towards, is I recently became like a Star Wars fan. Like I'd always casually watched, but then I saw Clone Wars and Rebels, and then it went out of control. So I definitely moved towards those. I'm also a huge Mandalorian fan, so I am looking forward to August and all of those pieces. I'm still banking on a Ghost coming out here in September. I'm hoping for that. I used to buy Friends, but my daughter steals every single one of my friends' sets, so I stopped even trying. I was like, forget it, that's fine. And then other than that, it really is just something that speaks to me. I am looking to start something similar to what Shy has. Shy Time is My Time, where he has his city like on shelves. I actually have a bookcase. It won't be in here because it won't fit. It would be downstairs, but I kind of want to put a city together. So I am interested in modulars, but again, it has to be a modular that I feel like a connection to, or a fun story, things like that. So that's where I gravitate. So either like a really fun build experience that I think I'm going to enjoy, or something that speaks to me, you know. And a great example is the Statue of Liberty, the one that's coming out for Spider-Man No Way Home. Yes. People are like, oh, you know, that's a terrible set, blah, blah, blah. But I love that movie, so I'm going to get it.
I mean, notoriously, I'm not a Marvel fan, so I'm maybe not the person to be commenting on it too much. But like, as far from the outside looking in, Marvel don't, unless it's like a big one of like the big sets like the Bugle or the Sanctum and stuff, like Marvel's play sets never really seem to strike me as particularly interesting. A couple of the ships have been quite good.
Yeah.
Like the Guardian ship was really cool. But like
right there, the Minotaur's up there.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. But the play sets never look all that awe-inspiring. But I actually really, really like the Statue of Liberty one. I haven't like not seen the film. I'm not a massive Marvel fan, but like I think movie. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things. But yeah, I like for the but for the crap that Marvel get like released, I think this one's like pretty damn good. Like,
yeah.
I'm just in general a Statue of Liberty fan, so I pretty much have most of all the different flavors and incarnations. So, and have the Apocalypse, Welcome to Apocalypseburg, which it's very close to, and things like that. And it's quite a fun build in that. So I'm look, given the minifigures and the price point and everything like that, like I just kind of sometimes you look at that, it's like, is it just people complaining for the sake of complaining? Like with what you're getting and everything. You know, if you want green, get the Apocalypseburg one. Like seriously, it's not that big a deal. But I mean, the Marvel stuff. Yeah, it's interesting you raised that point, Tech, with their play sets. It's, to me, it just feels like in the last number of years, Marvel haven't really done, like, you look at some things like Friends is, you know, the rebrand, they're doing some great stuff there. So the City stuff was doing some good stuff. You've had Monkey Kid do good things. Star Wars has generally been good. It's kind of up and down. Marvel just seems to be, like, just not there at the moment. And it hasn't been for a while, for me. Which, given the characters and the properties, I'm just a bit surprised by that. Like, you do have the Bugle, which is cool, but it feels like, okay, we'll just do a whole bunch of mechs, and we'll do like,
I never walk.
What do other people think you?
I never walk into the Lego store, and again, this is probably my naivety and my like lack of knowledge on Marvel, or like lack of following, but I couldn't point out what was a new set or what was, like, half the time what's a new release or what's been sat on shelves for 10 months or like a year or whatever. Like, there's never anything that really takes you. I thought the Avengers Tower playset looked pretty good for a playset that come out a year or so, a year and a half ago, something like that. Maybe it's even older than that, but yeah, they seem to do quite well with their big builds, like I said, the Sanctum and the Daily Bugle and stuff, and like I said, some of the ships. But their recreation of like dioramas or like actual play sets with like buildings and stuff just seem so lackluster.
So
they don't seem that exciting to me either.
Yeah,
I have to mention. Because when I first got into building, I was not that into like the diorama type sets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that they had, I think it's called Bro Thor's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most fun building that I had at that point. I loved all the little details. I love the fact that there's like a little cookie dot that you put under the couch. Like, nobody's going to see it, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
And that was actually the very first set that I did not take apart after building, because that's what I used to do. I didn't display. Well, I displayed it for like a week or two, and then I'd take everything apart and do that. And that was the first time I was like, I don't want to take it apart. And it is still on my shelf behind me from like however long ago that was.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so much fun. But I do agree that as someone who has been following Marvel for a little while, you know, part of it is I don't think anything they've put out recently has been worth having a great set for. I mean, it hasn't been terrific.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Guardians of the Galaxy was the last movie, or the most recent movie that did have some cool stuff. And I almost bought like the new ship, but then I'm like, I don't want two ships.
Yeah.
So I ended up not doing that. But you know, I feel like they're definitely geared towards kids, you know, and when like on Good Morning Brickworld, when we talk about the mechs and things like that, and, you know, kind of complain about them, I suppose. I've said as a mother, I could absolutely see walking into a Target and we've got a kid's birthday party who likes Guardians of the Galaxy or likes Star Wars, and grabbing one of those mechs. Like, here, it comes with a minifigure. They'll have fun building it, and they can like chase people around with it or whatever. And it's great. So, you know, some things I have to remind myself I have to look at through the eyes of a kid,
mm-hmm.
and not like an adult fan and what I want them to make for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because not everything, let's face it, not everything is marketed at adults. You know, there's a massive market for kids. I think sometimes we forget Lego makes for kids predominantly.
And it has to, because all of us adults, we are going to die one day, and the next generation needs to keep on buying Lego.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to keep
It's
the new blood coming through.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I had heard some stories and stuff about Star Wars, and where, there was this discussion about how in some cases they were focusing too much on the original trilogy in certain marketing aspects, and that they needed to start bringing in like younger kids, kids and stuff who would eventually grow up to be like adult, Star Wars fans. And again, it was kind of the same idea, was you need to, do some marketing and stuff, and a little bit more around some of the newer stuff so that you can continue to have those people purchasing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like you think like even to be represented in like, because my generation is the ones that grew up with the prequels, and so in 2000, or when they were getting released, obviously the prequels notoriously didn't get a great reception from adults. So yes, doing UCS sets that are aimed at adults predominantly wouldn't have been a bold strategy. No one would have bought them. And the couple that they did do prior to like fairly recently, like the Obi-Wan Starfighter, didn't do well. And so, okay, that made sense. But now you have like people that are my age with like disposable income that want to spend a lot, and like want to pull that nostalgia the same way people did back in 2007 when they bought the Millennium Falcon, because that was what they grew up with. It does feel a little bit underrepresented. However, I was really, really shocked when they did the UCS Razor Crest. Like, that was like a big turning point for me. So now I'm like, okay, I think this really has opened up the doors to them doing like newer property and stuff, because we've still not seen a sequels UCS set. Some people will argue that the Millennium Falcon is a sequels UCS set, but let's be honest, no one's buying that because it's a sequel set for the Frey and Finn figure that like weren't exclusive. They're buying it because it's the Falcon, because it's from the original trilogy. But so like, does that like, could we see one of Kylo Ren's ships in UCS? Like his shuttle would be a really great one. And that's probably 10-15 years away when the generation that was brought up on the sequels grow up. So
I'd like them to do more of the diorama ones that they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I love those, really do.
I actually I do plan on, I haven't gotten any of the Star Wars ones yet, but I do plan on getting the Emperor's Throne Room, because that just looks really cool, and that's something that I think would look awesome and be fun to build.
It is a cool build. That's one Matt's doing this evening.
Nice.
But part of that though is I've been starting to get into basically doing lights on things. So, and it was all because of probably Solo Bricks Builder years ago, because people were starting to talk about lights and things, and he's sort of like, oh, it's so expensive, but it's really easy to do it cheaply. You can do it yourself, and I'll do a video on it. And that was about 3 years ago, and he never did. So it's like, okay, I want to figure this out. And so this one, it struck me in terms of, they're nice because they've got space in the back and things to like hide the batteries and try to hide the wires and everything like that. And it just seemed like a good one to sort of try. So I know it might be sacrilege, but I've also been but I've also been getting the lightsabers and little tiny the hilts and little tiny drill bits, and actually drilling down through them so you can run wires through them, so hopefully you can light them up and things. So but I think the dioramas, I think they've really hit that sweet spot of having enough detail, but not being like massive display pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Usually have good figures. They like, these have all gone on sale now. Like, the two new ones within a month of them coming out. And it just seems like, it's a little bit to what you were saying a bit before, Amberlaya, like there's only so much space that you can have. And, being able to get them. And, okay, yes, they're doing Star Wars, but then they're going for other things. Like you've done a Jurassic Park one. You've done some Indiana Jones ones.
it just sort of lends themselves nicely to all those.
It's also just a refreshing way for Lego to depict scenes in a different style that doesn't have to be like. So like the throne room, they've done what, like 3 or 4 play sets. 2 of them looked almost identical from Return of the Jedi. It's just nice to get something like a bit more honed in, and like I said, displayable, but also just fun and like changed up what is an iconic scene. And okay, I appreciate that it needs to be fairly regular that we see the iconic scenes, but it's nice that it's not now that they can like they can alternate it. They don't have to do a play set for the 100th time. They can kind of mix it up and do something a bit more focused and a bit more detail.
Yeah, and I love the idea of a little snapshot of something that is iconic for people to have, you know. Yeah. And I mean, of course, this is obviously geared towards, you know, older people. I mean, kids could play with them. I mean, to be honest, but I love that. I love that idea of doing that. And I've seen people do fun little pictures with like their sig figs and stuff in there, and setting up fun little scenes and just having a good time with it.
Yeah.
Because it's like the UCS sets. As much as I love them, I haven't really got the space for, you know, to display them. So I like the fact when they brought out that smaller scale executor shit recently. That's lovely. It just fits up nice on a bookshelf, and they're the sets that I like. You know, as much as I'd like to build the proper UCS version, if you like, I do like the smaller scale ones, and I do hope that Lego do more.
I have yet to have purchased a UCS set.
Is there any that is on your radar that you're thinking might be your first one, or are you holding out for a particular set or ship that, or something that they do to be your first one?
I want the Ghost.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I want the Ghost. I gotta be honest. I don't know that it's gonna happen, but like if so it was funny because there was a leak, right, for one of the Ahsoka sets, and I think it was just a terrible picture of Sabine's helmet. And I was like, okay, $80, got it, day one. What's the set number? Like, I'm done. I don't care. You said Ahsoka, you said Sabine. I'm in. I don't care. Like, there's some of those things that you literally can just say that, and I'm like, I don't even need to see it. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah. So that was a bit like I said with them doing the Razor Crest earlier. Like, I was like, they've not done a Clone Wars UCS set, and so like up until like in the last like. We hadn't had a prequels UCS set, let alone a Clone Wars set. Rebels, although it's aged really well now, wasn't well received at the time, or like at least by like the wider Star Wars audience. It's definitely aged like a fine wine. But at the time it wasn't popular at all. The sets didn't sell well for Lego. So from their standpoint, I'm like, they're never going to do the Ghost as a UCS set. Like, but hopefully now, I'm sure the playset will sell incredibly well, and hopefully it will get a bit of the Razor Crest treatment where that set sold incredibly well, the playset, and then in a couple of years, if we keep seeing it, if it shows up a fair bit in Ahsoka, which I'm really hoping it does, then hopefully it gets like a new lease of life. We can get a big UCS set, because that would be one that I would be day one, and I've like kind of vowed to myself I don't really do day ones anymore, especially on a big UCS set, because like you can always find a deal for it somewhere. But a UCS Ghost, I'd really struggle to not get on board the hype with that one.
No, I'd get it. I'd come home. I'd turn on. I've been actually dabbling with streaming on Twitch. I'd probably like hop on a Twitch stream and be like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Building this now.
Yeah. So are you purely holding out for the Ghost then, Amber? Is there any others that kind of tickle your fancy that are out at the moment?
So as I said before, like I need to have like an emotional connection with things, and I am just barely starting to understand like what the different ships are, you know, like, because again, the Star Wars fandom's fairly new to me. I'll be honest, if they did the N1 from Mandalorian, because I've got the one here, and I want to modify it. That's one of the sets that I actually rebuilt in Studio so that I could start making some adjustments and changes. But if they did that one as a UCS set, which I don't think they would, I don't think there's enough of it to even bother, but I would get that because I think that's pretty cool looking. Or if they did Luthen's ship from Andor, I would do that. Yes.
Is it the Fondor? I think. Yeah, I was really gutted we didn't get a play set of that set, and I really, really hope that when Andor season 2 comes out, that they use that as like a promo set, and like they have it out a couple of months before, and then we can kind of jump on and get that, because that was a really, really cool ship.
Yeah. Wait, did we lose Matt?
We did, yeah. I think he has some internet problems sometimes.
Oh, okay. I was like, was he like, I just can't take this Star Wars talk anymore?
Yeah, I've had enough.
Yeah, about an hour in the stream. He normally has enough, has a quick nap, and then comes back.
But yeah, Nicole, what about you? Like UCS Star Wars sets, or I guess any of the big UCS sets, anything that's like that's catching your eye that you're kind of looking at?
I'm not really sure if I already have one, because the Cantina, the big one, is not UCS. I have the Death Star.
Okay, yeah, that one definitely counts. The Cantina's like, it's Master Builders, but it's essentially a UCS set. So yeah. I would say that one counts.
Yeah. Right. I'm not bound to UCS. If I have a smaller version and it looks good, then I'm fine with it, because I don't have really the space to display it. I have the Razor Quest. I have the first one. It is detailed enough for me. It wouldn't the money that I would have to spend and the space that I have to give up on it does not really equal the one that I already have. If they never had done a Razor Quest, that would be a different story. But I already have it. Same with the X-Wing. I have smaller ones. Do I really want the big one?
Yeah.
Which is not minifigure scale, and I like minifigure scale.
Yeah.
Nicole, I have to ask, have you ordered the Bat Box?
Not yet. You mean the Bat Cave?
Sorry, Bat Cave, yeah.
Yeah, the Bat Box.
I call it a Bat Box.
Cave, though.
Not yet, but maybe in 1 hour, 18 minutes is double VIP point. I am torn between Ninjago Markets, the Lion Knight Castle, or the Bat Cave.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So TJ built the city markets, and if you're curious, on last week's Good Morning Brick World, his segment was on the city market. He also did a Will It Flush, where he tried to flush a katana down the working toilet. Yeah. But yeah, so if you're curious to kind of get some insight, especially from a Ninjago person, he does talk about that. But it does look incredible. It really does.
I already have.
It looks great.
It looks great, and I already have City Gardens and the Harbor, and they are all amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's it then. You've just got to have that to add to the rest of the sets.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're already pot committed at this point. I mean, you gotta go all in.
Right. But then the flip side is that set's only just come out, and it's it's gonna sell well. It's gonna be popular. It's probably gonna be on shelves for at least 2 years. The Lion Knight's Castle's been out for what, like nearly a year now. That's I mean, again, it was probably you've still got probably a year at least on that one. But yeah, sometimes it is really nice to. I know I said I'm going to try to stay clear of like release day things, but I'm going to really struggle to avoid not get the Ahsoka show sets in September.
I'm getting every single one of them.
Yeah, I'm because what I've actually found, what I realized this week is, so they come out on September 1st, which is a Friday.
Yeah.
And on the Saturday and Sunday, I'm at the Blockbuster displaying a convention for the whole weekend. So I'm going to have the Friday off work anyway. So I think I'm going to go up to Birmingham the night before on the Thursday, get the Airbnb, and then go to the Lego store on the Friday morning, and then like stream in the afternoon from the Airbnb, and then we'll do the convention at the weekend. So
nice.
Yeah.
You know, I think one thing, because, you know, a lot of times I will buy things. Sorry, my AirPods are falling out of my ears. I will buy things day one, and then I don't necessarily like build them right away.
Mhm.
But one thing I do, you know, and I firmly believe in is voting with your wallet in some cases. And so if there's something that I know I've been anticipating and that I want there to be more of, I will very specifically make sure to buy that in a fairly reasonable time as my way of voting. Hey, guess what, Lego or whatever company, if you make this stuff, I am somebody who will buy them. And hopefully more and more people do that, and they'll continue making those things. I even do those with like certain movies and things that come out. For instance, when Wonder Woman came out and there was a bunch of toys and stuff, I bought a bunch for my daughter because I wanted to put out there like, yes, this is something I want to see more of. I want to see this.
Yeah.
So I can justify it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think voting with your wallet is very important. And like you said, it is good on a good way to kind of show that this is something we want more of. And like yeah.
Now nobody needs to vote with their wallet on Ninjago City Markets. That's going to be fine. So
yeah, that was
those things are going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder how that back cave, sorry, will sell.
I think that they're gonna personally, I think they've killed that set already because they've put the Batmobile, the 1989 Batmobile, as a little like £45 set or something alongside it, and it's pretty much the same car.
Yeah, it's identical because it's even got the flames going out the back when you drive it along and they rotate. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think, why would they do that? It's no longer exclusive to that particular set, is it?
Like I would never have bought the Batcave anyway, but I'm really glad that they have done that because I've really enjoyed collecting like the Speed Champion sized Batmobiles that they've been doing over the last few years. Like I think they've been really fun. And so I'm really glad that I can just pick that up. But so for me, it's great. But I imagine there would be a lot of people that are kind of on the fence that are like really big Batman fans that would be like, oh, maybe I don't quite like this, but the figures are quite cool. The car's quite nice. Like then maybe they would get it, kind of make it something, make it a bit their own. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see how that set sort of fares, if it's popular or not. I can't see it. I really can't see it, but I've been proven wrong before many a time.
It even comes with lights, Matt. So you don't have to install any.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it's got a light brick.
Wait, it's got a light brick?
Okay.
No.
Although, speaking of light bricks, I really was shocked when the lighthouse came out. And the price for the lighthouse, it's a beautiful set, but the lighthouse in itself with one light brick and one motor, and I think it was 270. It's in comparison to a modular building that used to cost 150. But I like
these days,
anytime
they put a motor in a set, it just becomes ridiculously expensive. And even the new Technic set, which is coming out later on in the year, which is going to be a crane, and it's going to be 2,800 pieces, and it's going to sell for $700. Like it's
ridiculous.
It's crazy. Like, and I mean, for me, I love my Technic and everything like that, but since they've started putting motors like these new, really expensive ones, they're underpowered, all the rest of it, it's just an easy pass. It's sort of like, okay, if it's gonna have one of these motors, I'm not gonna use it. It's based upon their app and stuff like that. So if the app ever dies, you're basically left with a doorstop.
Basically.
Right.
So it's really expensive risk to be doing that. So
and you have to
getting back to what we
remember.
were sort of saying earlier.
Yeah, and it's so sad because theoretically Lego is meant for kids to take apart and use the bricks for other pieces. Using a motor is really, really nice to use it for other things, but now you need to remember what set this motor was from in order to be recognized by the app. because you can theoretically use it for other things too, but you need to tell the app the motor belongs to this set. Who wants to remember that?
I have a question. With those, so I saw at Brickworld Chicago that something called Pybricks is going to be there, which is a way to, I guess you kind of flash the hubs, and you're able to use Python and stuff to custom, program your hubs and things like that. Would the ones with these Technic sets work with that? Meaning that if the Lego app goes away and you happen to have like an inkling of, Python or interest in it, that you could still utilize something like that?
That's certainly a question for the guys.
It's the sort of thing where
go on, Matt.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where, from a software development point of view, the way that they've dealt with this is actually pretty horrible, because they've kind of released it. It's been out for, I think, going on 4 years now. They got, I think, about 2.5 years into it before they started to provide some sort of documentation on it. And even then, it was more like, oh, we just want to let the community figure it out, i.e. we couldn't, we haven't gotten our act together to put together a proper set of documentation. It is the sort of thing where, it's going to be where you can deal with it and everything like that. But to your average person, and I think this was something I was having a chat with Nicole about a month ago, because she had her roller coaster and wanted to put a motor into it. And the old style motors, you literally just plug it in and you put a battery box and it runs. Whereas these days, you got to put it in there, you got to sync it up to an app, you got to control it with this, or do the Bluetooth here, or this, that, the other. Like, it just, it puts that a really high entry to barrier. And yes, it's the sort of thing, if you can get over that and get super interested in it, you can do really cool things. But I think so few people are getting to that point that it almost makes it redundant. And particularly when you're doing some things with just basic mocks and motors and things like that, which is why I'd be interested to see which way Tech goes with his one coming up. If it's got lots of moving parts and things, and I'm trying to bait him a little bit, whether or not he goes for the current one, or you pay ridiculous prices for the previous motors. Because when they announced that they were discontinuing all the previous version, I literally walked into the Lego shop and said, give me all the motors that you have, because out the back, they used to just have them in individual bags and everything. And I'm so glad I did that, because they're about $10 each. And now if you try to get them off Bricklink, they're about 30 or 40, because obviously they're not there. People still want them, and they're less likely. Like even Great Wall Contraptions, most of them are still using all the old ones. But yeah, I've kind of gone off on a side rant there, so I'll let somebody else say something.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because that barrier to entry, this is just a small little anecdote, I suppose. I remember watching some of the Lego Masters, because it's something my daughter and I watched together. And I do remember a few times seeing people who had to put motion into their things struggling with the app, like trying to get it to like do the motor correctly, and it's like, oh, it's not doing the thing, or it's not connecting. And so yes, I absolutely understand that frustration.
And it also comes back to, again, half the time with Lego, if you're doing it for kids and things like that, you're trying to get them away from screens. So anything which then starts pulling them back to screens, you're a little bit like, really? Do I like? Because certainly when we've had like Hidden Side and even some of the Mario stuff with the kids and things like that, like, you'll be doing something or going through the instructions and your iPad starts dying, and where's the cable? Or it's not here. It's not convenient. So like, it's just like, oh. Yeah.
Well, and I have to be honest, if you're going to have digital instructions, then I want you to take advantage of digital. I want to be able to see at each step, like where I can turn the item, I can turn it around, I can see the back, see the side, so that I can see exactly what everything should look like together. Like if you want to add that as an extra feature, that's great. I do not need like the PDF you use to have this stuff all printed just sitting like where I have to view that from an app. That's unnecessary.
I'm with you as well. Like motion, especially on some of like the more tricky sets, like motion building it almost that you could like press play and you could see the piece drop into place. Would be like super convenient in certain, especially when you've got like sub assemblies and then you're like putting them together or like adding things to the main model, because sometimes like lining up Technic pins can be a pain and things like that. So yeah, that sort of thing, it could be utilized really well, and I think it could be a positive way to integrate it if it's something that they actually want to do going forward. But yeah, like you said, it definitely seems like a half-assed effort at the moment. Just like, oh yeah, we're just going to not print out the instructions and you can just view it online. It's
exactly.
Yeah,
and I have to be honest, these dark blue pieces are really hard to see when you start stacking them on top of each other. And like, I'm like, what is that? Where is it?
I find some of the colors in some of the manuals though that they are hard. If you get different shades of blue, different shades of green, sometimes you have to double check. Think, is that the right one?
Oh yeah, I picked the wrong color before.
Yeah,
I really struggle. When I was younger, it was a lot worse, but like I have really difficult time telling between like reds and browns and like blues and purples. And like even going back and building old Lego sets, if you build anything from like even like 2010, like when I was rebuilding some of my old sets when I got back into it, I was like, I don't know if this is light bluish gray, dark bluish gray, black. Like there was like 4 or 5 different colors that some of these could have been. Like, was it dark blue? Like it was really, really tricky to tell. So yeah, I think it's gotten a little bit better in the color gradients, but yeah, it's still not great.
I'll tell you something as well. I have just spent nearly 10 minutes of my life looking for a piece that I thought I've lost a piece, and then I looked at what I'm building and I've already bloody put it on.
Oh, I've done that.
Thinking, where is it? It's on the model.
Okay, so crazy idea. Apple introduced that whole Vision Pro thing. What we need is the Lego instructions there, where you could put that thing on and you could look around and you could take the pieces apart and put them back together. Just saying.
Yeah.
For the future, Apple and Lego.
That's a good idea, that is.
The one thing I found with digital instructions in the Mario sets. The lag. Yeah, the digital instructions of the Mario sets, they go through and at a step they'll show like a bag shaking, which will be like, here, open the bag. But the thing is that animation only plays once. So what would happen is the kids have been going through and building something and they made a mistake. And then you're trying to backtrack. And because they didn't have that animation, you didn't know then, okay, have I actually gone past this bag into the previous one or that? And it actually made it really confusing. And it's just like something so simple, but from a user interface point of view, like, could you just imagine, like, if you're building something in, you know, one of these books, and then you go to flick back the pages, and then like a page just disappears for no reason. And it's just like, you wouldn't do it to the physical. Like, why are you doing it digitally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am the first to have complaints about Lego's UI. Their user interactive or UX or whatever is, especially like on their website. And I have complaints.
That just sounds like
complaints with Studio too.
Yeah.
I can't understand why Lego's never brought out an app where you can buy Lego through an app. You have to go online all the time.
Yeah.
Other people do it, you know, through an app. Why can't Lego just do it? It'd be a damn sight easier. It crashes. It doesn't let you in on release days.
That's never even, like, every major retailer has an app. Why doesn't, I've never even thought of that, but that's a fantastic point, Trevor.
I mean, all the money that we're piling into Lego, just us four alone.
Yeah.
But the thing with Lego is that they've never done digital well. It doesn't matter what it is, it's never been done well. And even when they first started playing with digital in the like late 90s, their obsession was when you're doing the bricks and you're playing around with
polygons with like 12 vertices and like tiny counts. At that point, they were like, okay, we want to do that brick, but every single brick has to have the Lego logo on the stud. And it's just like, are you even getting your priorities right here? Like, you can barely have a brick in space, and you want this detailed Lego thing. Like, it's just... And you look at the history of where they've gone with a lot of that stuff, and they spend a fortune on it and then dump the project. And then they'll do another project and then, dump the project. And even when you look at the Bricklink's studio, that, until a couple of years ago was actually done by effectively a third party. And obviously now that they've bought it, they've, been putting it in. So it's, I think, I don't recall any digital product that Lego have done which has actually been done well. So, and I'd love to see them do that too. Like, as you say, it's like every retailer can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a good software designer, I see a major opportunity for you, because Lego probably does not have good personnel. Because if you have a really expert at hand, they are not doing a crappy job on purpose, and Lego does not tell them, please do something as bad as possible. So if you are really good software designer, go there and you will be a rock star.
Brick Askew, I just saw, I dread to think of what their accessibility is like. So I am a software developer, engineer, whatever you call us. Yeah. Sometimes what will happen is, especially with accessibility, at least on web, I can only speak for web, is that because obviously the simplest design is the most accessible and the easiest to do. Like when for instance, when you have things like the galleries with the slideshows and things like that, like those are terrible for accessibility. And like you read the articles and they're like, well, if you've lost the war with your designers and you have to do one, here's how to try to make it accessible. I can't help but wonder if maybe they just kind of took the easy route and like maybe just made something super simple that like kind of works with the accessibility easily, and just didn't try to venture out from that, because you can make beautiful designs that are accessible as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, haha, KO.
Just having a look at Brickbot's comment there. Ian applied for a techie job at Lego. He didn't get it, probably because his application was along the lines, "You suck, let me fix it." I think,
funny because
that's probably one of the things where.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, you go.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a quick comment that at one time I did see Lego looking for like, it was like kind of below where I was at, but there was a part of me that was like, maybe I should apply just to be like, look, you need help.
Or is it one of those things where is it one of those things where they go, they want help, but secretively they really don't want it? They're sort of like, they can't bring themselves to admit it, sort of thing. So,
okay, their accessibility is a little wacky, but it's not terrible, but it's not great.
What do you got coming through there? In Brickbot, the original Mindstorms was actually very good. It was the first proper visual programming language to release, but since then it's all been downhill. I thought with the original Lego Mindstorms, or maybe it was the one that was released in, I want to say 2008. No, probably ended up getting corrected on this, but I thought the original Mindstorms was actually pretty bad. And again, it was a community thing where somebody basically reversed engineered it, hacked into it, made it a whole bunch better, and then they sort of decided at that point, actually, yeah, maybe we should open this up to the community. That usual sort of thing of closed source versus open source. If you've got it open source and the community is actually working on it, you get so much more that community, which then made it better to the point that was quite good. I just can't remember which version of it. And certainly the most recent version of Mindstorms that they released a couple of years ago, well, that pretty much put a nail in the coffin because they just completely discontinued Mindstorms. Was it the end of last year, I think? Mm-hmm. Which, it's a bit of a shame because there was a whole sort of thing there with programming and, if kids could get into it and things, but maybe with an MBI might know more on this with Raspberry Pi and all the rest of it and the third parties, whether it's just the size of the market. Like, once upon a time, it was good with Lego doing Mindstorms and education, but now that's sort of not there anymore because of Raspberry Pi and some of this other stuff.
Yeah. Well, so my understanding, because when I went to Legoland in New York a few weeks back, they had this little session where we got to build a robot and do like the, I think it's called Scratch, the programming where like you drag the blocks and it creates like the loops and all that other stuff and the logic. And it was so fun. I was like, this is super cute. I love this because we made this little robot that like had a sensor on it. And so when it got close enough that it actually sensed something in front of it, it made a little sound. Obviously the sound plays on the app, but I thought it was really cool. And I was thinking of, because I'm always thinking of how do I get my daughter like into programming, because she sees mommy do it. She's like, whatever. And so there's, there was this really cool thing and I thought we could do some really fun ideas, but when I did some research into it, it looked like they were focusing more on, I think it's called Spike Prime. So it's like the educational sets that you have to get now with those, with all the different sensors and like the hub and everything for teaching about programming and stuff using Lego. So that, and those are expensive. Even if you just wanted the hub, they're seriously expensive. So I'm very curious. I want to go to one of the Pybricks ones here, and I want to see if there's anything from my Technic sets that I can use and not have to buy one of those like $400 or $500 educational sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Spike Prime stuff, as you say, is ridiculously expensive. At least when they did like not the last version of Mindstorms, but the one before it. It was expensive, but you did get relatively good value for money out of it. But then when they did the most recent incarnation a couple of years ago, which sort of then that was really expensive for what it was. And then, the Spike Prime stuff. I think the only thing in Lego that I've seen, which is more expensive than that, is the Serious Play kits. But then that's more aimed at sort of consulting and, as a toolkit for that, which, it almost just seems like you're just pricing it way out of the market before you even get out the door.
Yeah.
Just having a look through the chat here, just sort of talking about reverse engineering the Mindstorms and a court case. And then back in the days of Dark Days of Lego, when they sold off Legoland, I believe. Yeah, there's a really interesting book which was published, I want to say about 2016, which looked at those years of 2002 around then when they really struggled and what they were doing with innovation and, why they're selling those things off. And that's why you get so many parts from the 2002, 2003 years, which you've only ever been then, because they were just letting the designers run wild. It's like, you want to do a new part and you want off color, knock yourselves out. You want to keep doing it, no worries. Like, which is why I think we now get the other extreme, because it almost broke them, where they go, right, you have a budget to do this set. If you want to do new parts, it's got to come out of that, and it's much more accountant driven. And he's saying serious play is essentially a pyramid scheme, got out of control. They've more or less ditched it now. It's interesting because I see on maybe it's just my Instagram feed, I'm always getting things of like, you should be a serious consultant. Here, click this link and find out how. Like,
isn't that for corporate like team building or something? Like you go out to like corporations and teach people to do that serious play stuff or something?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I met somebody who had actually done the qualification and everything. And yeah, it's it is in that corporate flavor, but it's very much, okay, the idea, the way that he was explaining it was you use bits and pieces, like you might use a 1x8 to represent an input, or you use the bricks as like analogies for different parts of your processes. And then the idea being is that if you can get one person in the team to explain their process using bricks, then other people can see that and sort of look to optimize it and those sorts of things. So it can be used as a corporate problem solving tool, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. Feels like one of those things a company would have a retreat and they'd have like a session in one of those.
Yeah. A larger corporation which, has an educational budget and we need to spend it. So catching up, are you talking about the Twitch thing there, Amberlaya, or is that something else?
Yeah, so Twitch, because I'm sort of new to the Twitch community and I've been kind of migrating over, and there was a whole big hubbub about all the stuff that they were saying for sponsors and stuff like that. But something that people didn't notice till the day after is they also snuck into their latest terms of service that you can no longer multi-stream or simulcast at the same time with any, I guess, web-based Twitch-like platform, meaning like YouTube and things like that. And previously it was only if you were monetized, but now it's no matter what. And that you would need like, there's this whole thing, there's this like legalese about needing like written consent from Twitch. But apparently you can only do a simulcast to things like TikTok and stuff like that, very specifically vertical streaming platforms. So I had been multi-streaming as I was getting ready to like kind of possibly migrate there. And I had multi-streamed on Tuesday. So I freaked out a little bit because I didn't realize that I had broke the TOS. And yeah, so I had a little bit of a meltdown, but just like not a meltdown, but like, oh my gosh.
But that's strange. It's fairly new, right? Because I know YouTuber and Twitcher who on Tuesday they Twitch, on Thursday they YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, you can do it. So you can't do it simultaneously. So you're allowed to be on like I can do Tuesdays on YouTube and then Wednesdays on Twitch. That's fine. But I have Streamlabs Ultra.
Yeah.
And so that lets me take one stream and broadcast it to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah, understood.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the thing that they, you know, it used to be just if you were monetized, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because that's, I mean, similar. I'm even at the moment, I'm streaming this out to Twitch and Facebook as well. So
We are on Facebook.
for
Like, you
me,
didn't tell me.
like Twitch is such a small little thing, so I'm probably breaking the terms of service, and I'll probably get kicked off. But it's sort of like,
Well, like
But-
people were talking to me and
I mean,
they
the
were like,
thing I've
unless
never
somebody
particularly liked
reports
about-
you. Yeah.
Right.
I'll just wait for one of the two people who are over on Twitch who are watching and report.
Oh, I've made a massive mistake here.
What are you doing,
In
Trevor?
in the instructions, and I think anybody would, well, I have, that piece there, whether you can see it, is printed. It's got the word McLaren,
Uh-huh.
and
did you
I've
already
used
use
that. I've already used that in that build somewhere. because the
Somewhere
last
in
piece,
there. Oh no.
because the last piece I have is not printed.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's somewhere in there, so I'm going to backtrack through the instructions. I've used it, but it's that minute. But you need it because it's actually the front. It says McLaren.
Right.
Gosh.
I mean,
I
it'd
don't
probably
normally
be
make
even
mistakes
funnier
like
if it
that.
turned out that you just didn't get the piece at all.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely in the build. It's got to be. I need to swap it with that, which is plain. I've got no printed piece. I mean, half of them, the stickers. That's a printed piece.
Trevor, if you wanted to call Lego and
Well, such
claim
a small
that you
piece
don't
there.
have it, we wouldn't tell on you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I can't remember seeing many of that piece in the build, actually.
I know when I do something like that, as I go backwards through the instructions, like the dread continues the farther back I go.
Yeah.
Because if it was just like 3 or 4 steps back, that's fine. But you're like, oh gosh, it's the beginning of the bag. You're like,
Right.
no.
Just be great. I'm glad that it's not Technic.
Mm.
Oh, God, yeah. What cog have you put wrong? You end up with a cog. You think, where's that going to go? I've got to be careful on that new Friends set. You know, the amusement
Yeah, I did that.
park. That's got a lot of Technic gears because there's one part that controls all 3 of the rides. I've got to really watch what I'm doing on that.
Right.
Oh, I'm working on that one with my daughter. Is
Oh, yeah.
that the new one with the like little carnival or the roller coaster things and stuff?
Yeah, that one.
Yes, I bought that to trick my daughter into like learning about the gear stuff.
That's one of my first Friends sets. That one is, and then I bought the botanical garden.
Oh, that's
Nice.
beautiful. If I didn't, my daughter would steal it. I wanted it so bad.
But the 2 dome pieces, they're awfully scratched. So I've rang Lego's customer service, and they're on the way. They're sending me 2 new ones out, but I'm just hoping they're not scratched either. Because I said you
Yeah.
can't get away with it. It's like a centerpiece, and you don't need them
Oh, yeah.
scratched.
Right.
So
Yeah, they can't start scratched. Like
No.
if they get scratched along the way, but you can't
Yeah.
start there. That's not
Yeah.
fair.
But that's so annoying because when I built the Land Speeder UCS set, that had a special transparent cockpit, especially for that set, and it was a separate bag, and it was even wrapped with some cellophane, and it was in pristine. So why can't they do that, or at least put them in separate bags? Because the problem is when they put them in the bags with all the other bricks, they just get scratched.
Yeah, no,
Right.
they
And I
should
said
be in
this.
separate bags.
I know, I said this when I rang up. I said, just a little word of advice. He said, yeah. I said, if you want to put it on your screen, why don't you put the transparent pieces all together in a separate bag? So he says, oh, we'll make a note of that. But he was helpful. And he said, we'll send you some more out. And got a few VIP points, so you can't complain for the inconvenience, because I said it really upset me.
Right.
Because it did.
Yeah. In the end, it is a cooperation. They will change if the bottom line doesn't end up anymore. If they spend more money sending out more parts instead of just wrapping it.
I mean, how much would it cost keep sending all these parts? Like you say, I agree. It's just ridiculous. You don't want to be ringing up asking for your parts to be sent out, do you? You just want to carry on and build.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just had this. I said to myself before I bought the set, I'm worried about those transparent pieces, and I just took it all out of the box. And I thought, I'm just going to check them before I build it. I don't want to get to the very last, couple of instructions where you got to put the last pieces on and they're all scratched. And they were scratched. So I'm glad I went through it in the end. But you shouldn't have to, should you?
No, and I can't help but wonder if it's because it's friends. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, for that UCS set, they were all wrapped and everything because they knew adults would be building this. Adults would complain about scratches, but it's almost like, well, it's a friend set. The kid's not even going to notice.
Yeah.
I ordered
no, because
I ordered this piece off of Bricklink the other day, and it's a canopy piece from the 1989 Batmobile, and that's in its own cellophane bag. So, and I think you could be onto something there that is like, maybe we'll do it for the like more premium sets, but because it's because it's just a play set, like kids not going to care about scratch pieces or scuff pieces.
Yeah. Well, the adult building them with it or building with them will.
The UCS X-Wing, which I got recently. No, the canopy piece was in with all the other pieces, scratched to hell.
Okay.
I was about to say, Trevor, you could have rang up and while you're there, just tell them to send me my canopy out. So,
I just wonder how many more
because when I ring them up, I've also the Ghostbusters car. Probably all of them, but it's probably the sort of thing, as you're saying, it's a business decision. It's how many people are going to complain versus what it's going to cost to that and a few VIP points versus the extra process in the factory.
Yeah.
Look what I'm looking for.
You found it.
Yeah,
nice.
I've got it.
What was it?
It was on the piece, one of these pieces that does the door. Does the door slope. So I've got it. I know where I went wrong now. I'm back on it.
So unfortunately, I do have to drop. I've got to get back to work.
A couple minutes.
Yeah.
But this has been so much fun. I love chatting with everybody. And Matt, thank you so much for having me. I was really excited when you asked. I was like, yes, I'd love to. I'll make arrangements for work. It'll be cool. So thank you.
Brilliant. No, it's been great to have you on. It's fantastic. You're more than welcome at any time if you have a lunch break or anything like that. If we're there, just either DM me or whatever, and we can drop you a quick little link. No, thanks very much for coming on. Is there anything you want to give a quick plug to just before you head off?
Sure. So as always, Good Morning Brickworld on Sundays. Also, we'll be talking about Brickworld Chicago prep and everything. So it'll be a really fun episode. Follow us on Instagram. I run the Instagram for that. And we'll be asking, we like to ask the community questions and then share those on our show. And also this Sunday, I will be on Fab Blondie's Bricks. So I'm excited for that one too. So that's everything. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Excellent. No, thanks very much
for
coming
on.
See
you, Melania.
Fab Blondie on a while ago.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you in Chicago.
Take care.
Yes, see you in Chicago.
You just had to get that in there, Tech, didn't you? See you in Chicago.
I had to, man. I had to, yeah.
See you in Chicago.
When you start doing the Chicago numbers, we'll get a little bit more worried.
I'm happy anyway. I got my pin.
Yes.
European.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you got that all good, Trevor.
Yeah,
Have you
got
had
it,
yours
yeah.
yet, Nicole? Your pin. I think you're on mute, Nicole.
Shaking the head vigorously. No, not
coming.
yet.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
help. Let's see if I can track it. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Really, really good quality as well. Really like them.
Yeah,
While
it looks
good pin.
While
amazing.
he's doing that,
I think I
Nicole, what are
started
you sort
on-
of working on this evening?
I just realized that I started applying the wrong stickers. I am working on the Quinjet, and there is 2 sets of stickers, Avengers,
Oh.
and theoretically I wanted to apply these. I thought they look cooler, but I started on the wrong sticker sheet. Damn. Follow the
Tell you what,
instructions.
I thought I was having a mare
You
this
want-
evening.
You just sort of look at that, and it's like you won't need to worry about clutch power. The whole thing's going to be held together by the stickers you put on it.
Right.
Because you look at the surface area of those 2 sheets, it's like that's going to be the size of the plane.
Right. But it's 2. You get you theoretically you only apply 1, and depending on the design that you want to choose, you can either choose one or the other.
And have you made up your mind as to which one you're choosing then?
Now, yes, I theoretically wanted to choose this one. And I started on this one. So now it will be an Avenger set. It's so strange. I know that when I opened the instructions on the very first page, there is, okay, you get to sticker sheets, choose which design you want to choose. And then within the continuous description of the instructions, they don't tell you anymore, use either number 3 or number 69. They only give you one number. And I thought for the interior design, it's the same probably, or not. Right.
Seeing Tech there looking all confused. It's like, was he looking for your tracking number or something? It's like, it's still up there.
Right.
That might be the reason you've got it. It never left the house.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've got it here to post.
Right.
It's very good quality. You won't be disappointed, Nicole. It's lovely.
Yeah. The
I got
only
mine this
thing
week.
in your stand that you are using for, it looks amazing. Now I need to figure a way that makes the pin look equally good. Question is how?
You could build one, couldn't you? Build a purpose-made one.
Yeah. You have great faith in my building abilities.
Always, always.
Oh.
Because you just, Trevor, used it into the coin slot thingy from the most recent.
Yeah. So just took the coin out that we got as gift with purchase and put text pin in.
And it looks incredible.
Yeah, because are those... I'm just trying to remember last year or the year before they were doing similar sorts of things with the coins, whether they're the same size, because I thought they had like little holders for them.
Yeah, it is in a holder, and text pins obviously are actually smaller than the actual coin. So with it being pins, I've just pushed the pins through and then obviously used the clasps at the back to hold it in place. That's how I've done it. Yeah, it is smaller.
Yeah.
And talking of coins, I heard today that the Bat Cave in, I think it's Asia, they're doing a special commemorative like, bat coin, but they're not doing it over here.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm just trying to remember whether that was it may have been a Brick Clicker leak video or something, or it showed.
That's right. That's where I saw it. Yeah.
No, that did seem a little annoying because I don't know. Much the same. The more that I see about it, so like, oh, this is the '89 Batman, and it's like, well, I got the Batmobile, got the Batwing. Do I get the Bat box as well? Because it's all sort of the same.
Yeah.
92. I'm sure.
I have a feeling that when I buy it, give it 4 to 6 weeks, and you get it discounted for I don't know what price.
Do you think it will be on sale? Think it will go on sale quickly?
You never know. I just bought Rivendell, and I saw now that Amazon has it. I thought, seriously, it's.
When did Matt? When did the foosball table go on sale? Roughly after it was released. Do you know?
About a week.
Yeah, it was. It was like a week or two. It was pretty quick. Because I think they were trying to time it for the World Cup, which still only had like a couple of weeks to run at that stage. But I think between that, I mean, you have to go back and have a look. I think they released that. Was it that and Black Panther? Black Panther may have been slightly than the month before. And I think Hogwarts Express was around the same time.
Yeah. It was all. I think they were all in September releases, and then by Black Friday they were all on sale. But might have been even before Black Friday, to be honest.
I mean, it's an interesting set, and I think, like you said the other week, Matt, all credit to Lego for trying something new and something different. But I just wouldn't pay the price that they put it out at now.
Yeah.
But if it was on sale, I'd certainly be interested in doing the build. You still got the VIP points.
Like the Hogwarts one, where it's like a 5 times VIP or something like that. I think that's going to get pretty tempting. But yeah, I think it might just be the sort of thing. I'll wait until the week after Nicole buys it, and then it'll be on sale.
Right.
Bless her. She bought Rivendell, and then you missed out on VIP points, didn't you?
Right.
And
now it's on Amazon. I wait for the notification that Amazon has it discounted. Okay, why?
Ian says, was it December 8th day that it went on offer? But I thought it was earlier than that because I'm pretty sure it was earlier than that. Was that the AFOL day that we went into Southampton? Because they had sold out of it in store on that AFOL day. I could have swore it was late. I could have swore it was later than that. Earlier than that, sorry.
December AFOL day went on offer. Yeah, I think it, like the foosball table, because I know I picked it up at around Christmas time because it had, I think it was 40% off. You could get double VIP. You could get one of those Christmas GWPs, and I think there was something else. I could just, by the time you put them all together, it actually made it quite a good deal.
Yeah.
Then Hogwarts Express best Lego Harry Potter set ever made, but the prices I am ordering, luckily I purchased it with a £70 discount from Smith's. Yeah, and it sounds like the next train, the Emerald Knight, is going to be at normal size, rack size, so it's not going to be at the display size, which.
Oh, is that the Orient Express?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, from the rumors, that's yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of the complaints that they couldn't run it on normal track.
Yeah, because I certainly think with that one, obviously it being a train set, you know, the people who are into trains are generally going to want it to run on a track. I mean, Hogwarts, you can kind of get away with a little bit more, like, okay, it's a display for Harry Potter, but yeah.
Mm.
I mean, the other thing that they've started leaking out pretty heavily is Gringotts coming soon, sort of thing. Is that anyone here sort of going to be interested in that, or what's sort of thoughts on it?
Definitely.
I was interested in it as an investment set, and then they were talking about like the gift for purchase being the bank, and the vault, and so I was like, oh, actually, that might be like a really good one to keep as an investment as a pair, because the gift for purchase is so heavily linked to the set itself. But it sounds like that the gift for purchase is going to be not specific to just Gringotts, and you can buy any Harry Potter sets to get the purchase to gift for purchase. So if that's the case, then I probably won't buy Gringotts. I may get like Diagon Alley or something like that, because that's got to be due to retire soon, surely.
Yeah.
Because that's been out quite a while now. So it was on my radar, but luckily they're not tying that. Well, as far as I'm aware, they're not tying that promo specifically to that set, which is a plus in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there are so many
a little
things
bit like
when
a Rivendell. Sorry, you go, Nicole.
Oh, it's just I thought of what Thomas said earlier about the Batman set and the Bat vehicle.
Yeah, the
Batmobile.
Yeah.
Bat vehicle. It's on the one hand, someone who wants to is a completionist. They are annoyed of why do they bring the same car. On the other hand, it's really, really nice that you can just get the car if you don't want the rest of it. And the same with the gift with purchase. One who really thought that it's better to have a unique set just for Gringotts would be annoyed.
Yeah, like I said, it suits me. Because like the Vault might actually be a decent little, because like I will occasionally buy something Harry Potter if I think it looks quite good. I actually think the build quality of most of the Harry Potter sets are really good. I didn't like the design style of this like new modular system that they've been doing for the last couple of years. But prior to that, their play set, like the 2018 to 2020 line of Hogwarts castle sets, were fantastic.
Yeah.
And so some of the sets are really, really cool. And I'll occasionally pick something up, but I might just buy some stuff for investment and then keep the gift for purchase, because if it's got a cool minifigure or something in it, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking forward to is the Hogwarts Castle, the diorama set, because I like dioramas anyway. I really like the look of that one. That to me is already a day one for me.
Nice.
Might do another vlog, me go and fetch it.
Yeah. It's done so well. Like I said, I said to you, Trevor,
I was going to say, you're queuing it up for your vlog.
Yeah.
I know, Tech, 1.5k views and like 325 subscribers now. I thought, well, yeah.
You're flying.
I mean, I was that famous. I couldn't get out my front door this morning. It's probably because I used the wrong key. But, you know what I mean? And then it took me 20 minutes extra to get to work. But come to think of it, that could have been for the road work, you know. So.
Minor detail.
But no, it's really good when you have a video. I know how you guys feel, you know, that does perform well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's always the ones that you don't expect to either, because it's like
I didn't think it would.
Yeah, because in theory, like it's very different to all the other content that you've posted before. So like usually that's like not something that YouTube favors or pushes, but sometimes it does, and yes, it's good.
Yeah, it just kind of worked.
Yeah,
because every morning I look at it, I'm thinking this thing won't slow down. Not that you know I don't want it to, but I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different for you because I know you're monetized now, aren't you, with adverts?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I noticed now they put an advert in it.
Yeah. I can't remember when that was, Matt. Was that like a year and a half ago that they were like, oh yeah, so we're gonna just slap ads on everyone's videos, regardless if you're monetized or not, and then it's only if you're monetized you can actually reap the benefit from it. Like, oh great.
Yeah, no, that was the end of 2020, because I think you know, yeah, because that was when a number of us started to hit the thresholds and everything, and I think a few people were thinking of not putting ads on, but then it was sort of like, well, they're going to put ads on, so you know, we may as well get the 3 cents per video for it anyhow.
Yeah.
But no, it is amazing how time slips by. It's
crazy.
It's gone pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. Like, I know it's been a while ago. Watching when you did the Good Morning Brick World, I think it must be about a month ago now. And you also were on, was it Cali Brick Click as well? But the thing which I didn't quite realize is how many Star Wars celebrations have you been along to now? Because I thought it was like 1 or 2, but it sounds like you've been to a few more than that.
No, I've only been to 2. I went to the one in obviously this year, and then the one in 2016 that was in Europe. That's the only 2 Star Wars celebrations I've done. I would love to go to Japan.
Yeah, no,
next. Yeah.
I think it was more when you said
sorry, Matt, go.
2016. How long have you been sort of, I guess, into Lego as an AFOL? Like, did you had a dark age as such?
Yeah, so I got in about 2014 was when I probably like 2013. 2013 Christmas was the last Christmas that I got like a ton of Lego sets. I got like a ton of those Lego Star Wars summer sets because that had like the ATT, the gunship and stuff, because my mum managed to get like 3 for 2 at Argos on like all the big sets. So I got like 3 gunships, 3 ATTs, and like some of them I didn't even end up building up until I got back into it. So yeah, that would have been Christmas 2013. That's when I had my dark age up until I was still kind of following stuff. And then I was kind of looking at stuff when like Disney took over. And I think I Lego and Star Wars has always been very hand in hand for me. I've watched the Star Wars films, but I've never, the times where I've been most into Star Wars, I've also been into Lego, and like vice versa pretty much. So, yeah, they've always gone very hand in hand. So when the Clone Wars ended in 2013, I was kind of quite checked out. I didn't really like Rebel. I didn't really give it much of a chance at the time, and so I was like, okay, I'm kind of checked out. I was getting to that age where I was starting to go out and like parties and stuff. So so I just fell out of it. But then I had in 20. It must have been about 2018. I like started to get a lot of my Lego collection out again, and I pulled it out of like the kind of loft space that we had for it, and started like rebuilding some of it. And I was going to start working on a mock and stuff. And I got the setup back in my room, and I was like watching YouTube, but like that never really amounted to anything. I was trying to sort my collection first, and it was just such a daunting task at that point. I was like, nah, I never really got around to it. And then in 2019, I think my sister went to Disney World, and I house sat for like 3 weeks. And so I ended up just putting on YouTube a lot of the time. And a couple of old Lego Star Wars videos got recommended because I was just like logged into my old channel, and I started watching them. And so then I like properly started following it again, pretty much all through well, no, it must have been earlier than 2019 that my sister went to Florida. Probably like 2018 then. And then, yeah, in 2020 when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I'm going to really get into this again, just for something to do. But yeah, like I said, they've always gone very hand in hand, and it was just so like the Mandalorian was coming out, and then Clone Wars was coming back out, so that kind of like really reignited a spark. I do kick myself that I didn't get all the Rogue One sets when they come out, but other than that, it was because I was still looking at those. But yeah, it was. So I've been into it a long time, just sort of dipping in and out.
Because I'm just trying to remember, because I think there was another interview I was listening with a Star Wars person around the same time. Was it you that came to Star Wars through Lego, or did you, like, you were interested in Lego, they did a Lego Star Wars, which then got you into the wider fandom, or was it just you kind of just generally always aware of it?
I've always been aware. I think me and my brother watched my dad bought my brother the VHS of Phantom Menace, and I remember watching that back quite a lot as a kid. And then I remember like having birthday parties and getting bought Lego and stuff, and so to be fair, we had, I think Lego I'm almost certain to say that Lego definitely come first, because we had like, my mum was very much a completionist, and it's where I get that aspect of me from, because we had like all of the original Harry Potter sets. We had like all of the Jack Stone stuff. We had some like really obscure niche stuff. We had a lot of the Star Wars stuff as well, from the early 2000s. So yeah, we always had that. But then when I like, and it was, I mean, we played with Lego a lot, but never like super seriously. And then it wasn't until 2008 when the Clone Wars did their own movie, that I went and watched the film, and I was like, oh, this was like really good. I really quite like this. And then I think it was the Daily Mirror had a promotion where every day of the week that they were giving away a new poly bag that was associated with the Clone Wars. And so I got that, and then I got into the show, and again, like Lego weren't really producing much else other than Clone Wars stuff at that time, because it was the only fresh content that was coming from Star Wars. Yeah. And so they were doing like whole waves of Clone Wars sets, and because I was enjoying the show so much, it sort of came hand in hand. So yeah, it's hard to it's really hard for me to picture one without the other. Like I said, when I've watched Star Wars, I've always like looked at what Lego sets have been out, like when Rogue One come out and when Solo come out and stuff. But yeah,
Ahsoka now.
So then,
yeah.
So within that, what sort of then made you go, okay, I'll go along to the Star Wars celebration in 2016, was it?
Yeah, so I don't really. I think I must have just seen The Force Awakens must have just come out when the tickets went on sale. And yeah, I don't really. I think it was just because it was something new that was coming to Europe, and I was like, "Oh, this could be like quite fun. Like I could, like, it's something that doesn't happen." I'd obviously known of Star Wars Celebration and as well Star Wars weekends that used to happen at Disney World, and so the idea of that sort of thing like really intrigued me. And I'd done a few Lego conventions in the past, like the Brick Live used to be quite a big one. That I'd been to a couple of times, and so I was like, "Oh, this could be really fun." And I was like, I was at the age where I was like old enough to just like rock up and do that kind of thing on my own, and yeah, it's just like a different experience. I think I was sat in the pub with my sister. I think it was like a snow day. It was like a snow day. I don't know why I've got such a vague recollection of this, but I think it was like a snow day. And the tickets went on sale, and I was just like happened to be on my phone. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy this and go, and it got the weekend pass. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. That was a bit spur of the moment. But yeah, it would have been 2026. But yeah, I think yeah, because of the back of the hype of The Force Awakens, I was like, okay, yeah, I like my interest in Star Wars started to peak a little bit again. And they had a lot of the panels for Rogue One, and so that really got me into like, I really enjoyed that. I just never pulled the trigger on any of the Lego sets at that point, I don't think. But, yeah, I think I must have toyed with the idea. In fact, I think it probably would have been around the time that Rogue One came out was when I got a lot of my Lego back out to like start organizing and stuff, and then just never did get around to it. But yeah.
Oh, cool. So in terms of when you were starting to organize it, was it just in terms of, were you looking sort of somewhat thinking of selling it, or you just sort of like, oh, I'll just have a little bit of a look back through this as like a bit of nostalgia, or?
No, when I pulled it out, I was hoping to like, I must have had a couple of the like Bricklink sellers recommended videos up on my feed, and saw like everyone's organized parts collection, and I had a mock up in my we called it like a little playroom. It was like a little room in the attic that we had, and I had it, and I for all the time that my mom was like organizing that room and like putting more and more toys up there as we got older, it was just something that I never got around to finishing. But I always said to her, like, don't, like, please just leave it, because I swear I'll return to it one day. And I can't remember what happened, but it broke, and I was just like, okay, we just dumped it all in a box, and it was fine, it was whatever. But I was like, I always had like unfinished business with that mock, and I always wanted to return back to it. I still haven't yet, but yeah. So at that point, I was like, I wanted something to do, and get back into that wasn't just like going out all the time. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll like sort my Lego collection out, and then like get back into like the mock building stuff. But yeah, at that point, it never really hit in until the pandemic, where I had a lot of time.
And I'm just kind of curious in it, because that's the thing I always find with some of those like Good Morning Brick World interviews and things like that, is like, known you for quite some time, but I just didn't realize how far back you sort of went with Lego and Star Wars.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking it was more pandemic sort of around that time, but no, it's actually went quite a bit further back with that.
Yeah.
So how did you then, obviously Not That Sam Smith does a lot of sort of Star Wars and things like that, and you guys seem pretty close. When did you sort of bump into him and sort of cross paths with him?
So Sam would pop in when I was like on London Calling every week. Sam would like pop into the chats and stuff then. So that would have been like summer of 2020, probably, in and around that time. And then it was at a time at that point, I wasn't actually doing much. I think like Monkey Kid had probably just come out, so I was like on the hype for that, and I wasn't really. It was like before Planet Tech, and I wasn't really doing Star Wars content or like particularly interested in a lot of the Star Wars stuff. A lot of the sets that were coming out were sets that I'd already got when I was younger, so I was like, I don't really see the point of rebuying a lot of these at that time anyway. And so, but then Sam popped up in a couple of Greg streams, and like I went and checked out his channel, and then he did like a 12-hour live stream, I think. And Sam, if you could, Sam, pop up and tell, when was that 12-hour live stream? Because we've been talking a little bit before, and I was like, I started to watch like SW and Sam and Coconut a lot more because they were doing like very Lego Star Wars focused stuff, and I was like, I think I want to get back into it and like properly go into doing like Star Wars mocks and stuff. And so I was speaking to Sam a little bit, and then he did that 12-hour live stream, and he like invited me to come on, and so and SW also jumped on that stream as well. So it's the three of us kind of chatting, and then from there I was like, okay, yeah, I think that must have been around like, it's the summer of 2020 is when I sort of bumped into them and started chatting with them and stuff, and then I actually met them for the first time in February 21? No, February 21 or February 2022? I can't think now. Maybe I'm misremembering this because
I thought you restarted, like you did your Planet Tech. Well, that was about 2 years ago, I thought. But
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Oh, it was September. Okay, so yes. Oh, it was September 2021 that I. Okay, so I must have been. No, that makes more sense. I would have been doing Lego content for about a year, and then I like really started sporadically uploading and hardly uploading at all throughout most of early 2021. And then it was like in the summer, I was like, oh, I want to reignite the passion into something and like start something fresh. And so that was the in September I got to know Sam and SW. So then February 2022 we went to London Brit Festival, and that's when we met for the first time.
Okay, because I remember, we sort of joke about it, was you had Tech Tuesday on anything but a Tuesday.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, like that format, like I very much enjoyed. And I was wondering like in what capacity like I could try bring that back in some way. And I just don't think it works for it's not a format that's ever going to be something that would like grow or like blow up a channel. But like I feel like maybe for like as a members kind of thing, it could be quite fun, and like because a lot of it was just vlog stuff, and it was just like finding like going and out hunting for deals and checking on things, and then like behind the scenes kind of stuff of working on videos and that. But I do wonder, like, because I do really like the format of that, so maybe that'd be something I bring back for Wednesdays. But I think my downfall was actually naming it a day of the week, and then it never. The first couple of months were like pretty good. Like I was pretty nail on, but it was. I think it was around the time we moved out of our family home, and I moved in with me and my mum moved in with her boyfriend. The days started to slip. And yes, Butchop, sorry, I've not been reading chat because I was just yapping on. But yes, I will be at Brickworld this year.
Yeah, if you go back to the first hour of the stream, you have Tech and Amber Lyer, who was in a bit earlier, talking quite extensively about it. So Tech was already rubbing it in that he'll be going, and some of us plebs won't be. So, although it sounds like Nicole was lining up next year, and
she's got herself a bed already.
And yeah, just while I was there, Butt Chop has been organising the 72-hour live stream, which is going to be again this year, which is great. And I think the dates of it is it 28th to the 30th of July, I think it is. And for anyone who doesn't know, basically you have 72 hours straight of just different people who are in the community who are streaming. So you sort of can go from literally one Lego stream to the next, to the next, to the next. And because of the 72 hours, then it encourages as well a lot of, you know, the European ones can do it at their preferred times, and the Americans, and then you get across to Australia and Asia and everything like that. And it's always a lot of fun. Different people will be doing different things. And a lot of work goes into that. And I'll be doing a Sunday session, so it won't be usually Thursday with that. And I think I'll probably revive the Lego Pictionary, which basically the way which you've been doing it in the past is pick a set, I start drawing it, and then people try to guess it. And we might do panel versus chat to sort of see who can get it quick or something like that. But yeah, more details on that will come in the coming months. But as always, thanks to Butt Chop, and I think Brick Pastor may also be on the organising side of that. I think most of the spots are filled up. There's still a few ones there, so if you are interested in streaming or something like that, probably get in touch with those guys, and they can sort of sort or help sort you out with that. A solid 80% of the reason I'm going this year so that Tech can't rub it in that I wasn't there. And Tech has just disappeared, so what else? I only watch that. What's he saying? It's 128 hours. Sorry to deceive. Is that? I must have missed something with that there. And Butt Chop, yes, Lego Pictionary. Yeah, I sort of saved that for special ones. So I thought, particularly in the 72 hour, it's nice to have something which with a bit of variation.
Sorry, I think my laptop.
Tech has come back. He's probably just organised.
You're still trying to search for Nicole's pin, aren't you?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Nicole, that is it's in transit. It is on its way, so I'll keep updated on it. I'll send you 5+ days. Okay, yeah, so it's been about a week since we dropped off.
Nicole, when you get it, when you receive his commemorative pin, it'll be at 2K, so you can order another one. It's really good quality though, Tech. You must have really looked into that.
Yeah, I did do a lot. I like
because
of my pin obsession that I've got with all the Disney pins that I collect. Like I kind of knew what I wanted, and so I'm very happy with how it was. The company was so great. Like plenty of communication back and forth, and like I said, they ended up. I was expecting them to come on Monday coming up, like next Monday. I was like, that's gonna be so close to Chicago because I wanted to take them to Chicago, so people didn't have to pay like a ton of money for shipping. But yeah, they come like 2 weeks ago now, so yeah, they were super prompt, super good, and just got the job done, which I really appreciated. So that was good.
No, all credit to you. Well organized that was.
Yeah.
Has anyone
what are you going to do for your 5K?
Been watching the Dream Show?
I haven't, Matt. I've been meaning to, but I haven't.
I watched a couple, that's all.
Yeah, what do you think of it, Trevor?
I like it, but I need to watch more of the series to grasp more of the characters, if that makes sense. So I can kind of marry the characters and what they drive and the vehicles to the actual set. So I'm already as I'm talking myself into the actual sets. But yeah, moving on. I'm only curious. That's all. I'm only looking. I do like that turtle one. I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
Might get the odd one or two. You never know. Not ruling it out. I think I was ruling it out the other week.
Yeah, no, I like the boat. I like the big shark ship. I think I'll get that.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's interesting. There are interesting
there.
characters.
Yeah, that's butt-shot reference in my my very old initial. That was what my channel was called back in the day, where I sound like a 5-year-old on YouTube. But yes, butt-shot definitely.
Cody Rex 67.
That's it. Yeah, not a mouthful at all. Not like not an absolutely ridiculous.
Matt, have you seen that?
Yeah, I've been watching some of the
video?
Dream.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go.
No, I was just saying, have you seen that? I think it's called Tranquil Garden set. That was leaked as well on that video.
Yeah, it's a hard one because it sort of sits somewhere in between. I think, as I sort of described it, the botanical and the architecture, but it's also a little bit of a diorama. So I was thinking in the back of my head, I'll get all the diorama ones because I've got most of the Star Wars ones, got the Jurassic Park, I'll get the Indiana Jones stuff, and then I'm sort of looking at that, it's like, as the completionist, so like, does that fit into one of them? I think until we see it properly, from what I've seen thus far, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by it. I think from what I can see, though, it looks like the plants are doing something weird with the bases so you can make them interchangeable, which I think could be interesting in terms of other mock things.
I thought that you can actually just take them out and then just place them. Yeah.
Which I thought is an idea for like mocks and stuff like that. That could get really interesting. And if I was ever going to do it, maybe this is more in your wheelhouse. If you're doing stop motion animation, that could be interesting to sort of like move characters around or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was your sort of take on it?
You say you've got the Jurassic Park. I'm just curious because I haven't got that one. Is that a very good set, would you say?
It was a nostalgia thing because I remember going along and seeing it in the cinema, and it was one of the few movies which I went and saw a lot at the cinema because I just loved it. Most movies, if you really like it, you may have gone a second time. But that one, I think I saw about 5 or 6 within the first month or so. But in terms of the set, as a diorama, I really like it. I just found that I've been building a lot of dinosaurs lately because I'd recently done like the Jurassic Park, the big T-Rex at the gate. I'd done the 3 dinosaurs for the Lego house. There's a dinosaur and something else, and there's a dinosaur in that set. So you kind of like, after a while, you're like, oh, I don't want to build another dinosaur, but so that might color it. But it's the sort of thing, if you're into the film and things like that, I think also too managed to get it when Argos had it on special as well, so that's always a bonus. It's another nice diorama set. As what we've sort of said before, you get some nice figures. It's nice, it's compact. You get a car, the figures, the dinosaur, fence. That key scene ticks all the boxes. So if you're on the fence about it, then I'd certainly consider it. I mean, do you guys have that one?
No.
No, I really wanted the car, but now it's come out in that cheaper set. I'll probably just maybe pick that up at some point. Want to see that go for a good price?
Yeah, it's I think much the same. Like there's, I think at least want to pick up the visitor center at some stage, and then possibly one or two of the other ones with the one-off dinosaurs. But that's because the kids too have always been into Jurassic Park as well. So there's some sets which you get which I like. If generally anything which I get with Star Wars is going to get played with. And it's tricky to keep track of minifigures because they just end up in pieces everywhere. Like, the one thing I was going to ask because Trevor, you built this Emperor's Throne Room. Did you get 2 Darth Vader capes? Okay, right. So it wasn't just me.
Nice.
I don't think that happened before. But yeah, we've also watched a lot of the Dreams stuff, and I think we've only got a couple episodes left to go. And yeah, it's just that sort of thing you can see as you're getting into it. It's like, oh, that would be an interesting set to buy, and might get that one. And but then part of it seems to be if you watch it all now and you wait a couple of months and it sort of falls out of the back of your head, you might not end up getting some of them. So it's like,
Matt, you haven't got 2 for Darth Vader. You've got 1 for the Emperor.
Oh, is that what that is?
Okay. I had to think then. I thought, no, you got 1 for the Emperor, 1 for Darth Vader. That's it.
I'm so glad because I was really wondering. It's not that long that I built that set and already forgot about it.
Got some cool building techniques though when you build the actual back of it because it's got a lovely design to the rear of it as well.
Yeah, no, I'd sort of seen that, and then obviously Tech had done his mock a couple months prior. So, how do you? Obviously, you've done your mock, and then you saw it. What do you think of the set, Tech?
Yeah, I think it looks really good. They actually used well, to be fair, I'm not going to like claim this as mine because I very much took the concept of a lot of the design was taken pretty much from the Skywalker Saga, because one thing that the Skywalker Saga did differently to the Complete Saga video games is that all of like the sets per se, like as in like all of the buildings were made out of Lego, whereas in past games only certain bits were actually made of what looked like bricks. But yeah, the whole Complete Saga game was made out of Lego, which I thought was really cool. And so I was like just taking screenshots of that and like taking inspiration from that. But obviously that's like very I shrunk it down even because it was just so upscaled. But the technique is much the same with the flex tube and like the tension, like pulling it together, which was really cool. And I think I'm on the fence of whether I'll get it or not, because it's not like a huge standout scene to me. I think I'd be more likely to get the Endor one first, maybe. But then we're getting the Leia figure in the calendar and the Scout Troopers coming out in the foil pack. So yeah, I don't know. The newer dioramas haven't piqued my interest as much, but if they do the right one, I could definitely be keen for it for sure.
They are good, the dioramas. I do love them.
Yeah, no, I do wonder if the first 3 I think are retiring at the end of this year. Obviously, you've got these 2. I could just see that next year they might do like some prequel ones. And then they may become a little bit like was it the TIE Fighter pilot helmet? Where you then start kicking yourself because you didn't pick up the original ones. Like, and they really do it as a series. And like you can see that if they did it well, it could really continue and have some legs.
What's because the meditation chamber's retired, right? Is that, or has it retired? I need to have a look at that. Because I've got that one and I really liked that one.
Has.
I wonder what the
Because it was
aftermath
I think it was meditation chamber. What's that little droid thingy? Can't believe my mind's gone blank. The floating droid from Empire.
Oh, the probe droid.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that came out at the same time as the chamber. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the chamber is retired. Let me have a look on the eBay, see what it's going for.
And
probably 250.
Yeah. What was the retail on that? Was it like 70? You can still pick it up.
Yeah, it may have been. I mean, since Lego have done their price increase, it's completely thrown me out.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of sets which, are going to retire this year or soon, and they go on sale, and it's like, wait a minute, that sale price is now the original retail price. What?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah. You can still pick it up for like under £80. And what is the retail of it?
Tech Argos have got some good deals. Just talking about sales at the moment. I think even on the UCS land speed, I don't know if you've got that one.
Yeah, it's gone down to like 160, was it? Yeah. I think they're trying to compete with Lego's double VIP weekend coming up. That's why I think I've noticed a few places jump on and do some deals. I did pick up from Asda the most recent Speed Champions wave because they were all down to £15. I probably could have held out and waited for a bit of a cheaper deal on that, but
there's a lot of done that. Yeah,
so I picked those up.
Yeah, I think £15 apart from a Black Friday is going to be the new sort of low price. Like when you had them at £18, the low price seemed to be 12. Like it generally never went below that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. No, there was somebody on Amazon who screwed up one day, and they had the Lamborghini and I'm just trying to remember. Was it the Lamborghini and Dom's Charger? I think is a 2-pack for £22. It's like, yes, please. I get lots of those.
Yeah. I think the cheapest I've seen the Countach and the Dom's Dodge Charger and DB DB5 go down to about £14. I don't think I've seen less than that. I did get a few. I think I got them recently. I bought a couple of extra Countach and Dom's Dodge Chargers because they were £14 in Morrison's, and then I also, because it was like an online delivery thing, I had like a £5 off voucher plus like a little bit of cash back as well, so that worked out to be quite a good deal. But yeah, the meditation chamber was £60 retail, so you can get it for like not that far off of retail. I don't know how long it's been retired. I feel like it's been retired a while now, but so that one's not too popular. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what like the trash compactor and stuff will go for.
Yeah, because I think particularly the trash compactor. I mean, you probably know better. Is there a couple of unique figures in that? Like, I think is the R2.
Is that the first? Yeah, the R2 is all the characters have like got dirt marks on them, haven't they? I think it's the new Stormtrooper design for the torsos.
Yeah, with the arms as well. The arms printed.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I managed to pick that one. That one went down on Argos to like £60, I think. So I managed to get a couple of those.
It's a good set, that is. I built it here on Matt's stream.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I really like the diorama concept. I'm just waiting for a scene that I like really like to come, and I will jump on it. But yeah, not really had one that I've been like, oh, I really like that one yet. So
in fact, have you noticed because especially on Instagram, the people that obviously making mocks, such as yourself, they're actually making a lot more in the diorama particular style now.
yeah. It was yeah, a lot of people, it was definitely a thing before, but yeah, everyone now is like black border to like match the Legos, and I like doing it as well. I did it with the ones that I did. It's fun. It just, I guess it just makes it feel that much more to being like, oh, I've designed a Lego set. I guess it's at least that's kind of why I think I did it. It's like, oh, it could fit in. It like looks the part alongside Lego sets. I think is the charm of that.
There. And then Bud Chop earlier was asking just that Trevor's somewhat new to the community, but he's generally, obviously he's here, but he's generally been in a lot of streams in the chat a lot, supports a lot of the different channels, and yeah, should definitely check out some of his stuff. Has a very cinematic eye and does a bit of stop motion as well. Just trying to think. That's that. And then, yeah, cool. You got a new sub there, Trevor. So,
oh, thank you very much. Much appreciated, thank you.
Bud Chop has been around for quite a while, and some of the mocks that he does are quite phenomenal. So definitely, if you get a chance, check out his. The mock.
Yes, I will do.
He does, and yeah, he organizes or has been involved with the 72-hour live stream, or it's looking like it's 128 hours or whatever it is, because he can't get enough of it. So that's all good there. It's funny, I was talking to Nicole earlier, because you've probably known over the while I always going on about Amazon Germany. Well, something from Amazon Germany actually arrived today, and it's not in the best state.
Oh dear. Oh, I've been looking at that one. I thought that's the one that could get me back into Technic.
Yeah. Nice big fat Amazon sticker on it, just what you want.
That is a cool set.
Yeah, no, big fat Amazon sticker. Let's see now. It's all been taped up here because it's been goodness knows. Wow. Punch hole in the top of the box there.
Okay.
There's a punch hole through here as well. This edge here is ripped off. It's just, the back's probably a bit better, but so, yeah, certainly.
Hope all the
if you're looking to get something for investment, I'd probably say that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I got to do later on is because of the way it's being taped up. It's not even like the other end is the one which has the main seals, so it's not like the seals have just come undone. And these are the sorts of things where you only have 4 numbered bags and you've got multiples of each one, so you don't necessarily know which is having the problem.
Yeah, and you don't want to start something like that and like get halfway through and go, oh yeah, this is missing, and then like try send it back, which is honestly what that looks like. It's been bought and then someone's had something out of it, and then they've said, oh no, I don't want this anymore, and send it back, and they tried to resell it.
But it's so strange that Amazon would tape something up so badly.
Yeah.
So, but to be fair, I think that's the first time I've had a bad experience with Amazon Germany. So I guess it's a numbers game. But that being said, what other
fun adventures in mispackaging and horrible things have other people experienced? Does anything jump to mind?
I had a recent thing from Lego where I thought it took longer than it would normally to take for a delivery to arrive, and I went online, you could track it, and it said that 2 attempts had been made to try and deliver it. And I thought, well, why don't you leave me a card? Normally they send you an email if it's DPD or whatever, and no communication to me about these 2 missed deliveries that apparently wasn't in. So I rang them up, and then I looked further down on the tracking, and it said your parcel is being returned back to Lego. I thought, well, you've not even attempted it. So I rang Lego and I gave them the due. They resent the whole order again, and that was just on its way back to them. But I blame the parcel company because no attempt, there's no card, no email, no nothing. That's what I said to Lego. So that was my recent experience.
Yeah, I don't think I've had any, not that like jump out of me in terms of like horror stories for anything. Thank God. Yeah, I think I've got off pretty lightly, to be fair. There's like the classic Argos one where the Argos will always slap a sticker on the box somewhere. But yeah, other than that, there's been a few Argos boxes that haven't been great, but
they always put stickers like you say on, don't they?
Yeah. But no, to be fair, like for the most part, it's been pretty good. For some reason, all of the Technic Ospreys, it's very, very hard to find one of those with like a perfect condition box. Like, I don't know what happened to them, but they all, like, you see on eBay, like none of them are like 10 out of 10 boxes. The 2 that I got are like far from perfect. But yeah, that was always. But yeah, I was just like, as I was thinking about listing it, I was like scrolling through it. I was like, yeah, none of these boxes are like pristine, straight from like the Lego like the Lego box. Like, yeah, they look like they've been played football with before they've been put on shelves. But
you know that kit, Matt, that you've got? Is that motorized? Is there a pump in it, or
the Technic one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a pneumatic pump in it, so it's an air pump. So it doesn't have a motor. It's literally a series of cables, and yeah, you have a couple of pumps. They don't do those ones too often. The previous one to that I actually do have was a big grabber truck in Technic, but the pneumatics in that are slightly different from this one. And prior to that, I think there's been another little one in between, like a 90-pound sort of little digger type set or something, which has got a few pumps in it. And then prior to that, you're talking about the previous generation. So, but that one, I think, to be fair, normally it's about 150 pounds. I think through Amazon Germany, even though it's beat up and everything, it worked out to about 94 pounds. So, like, it's a pretty good deal. And as we were sort of saying a bit earlier, it doesn't have any motors in it. So, you know, and past that sort of checklist.
It looks a nice set. I mean, if ever I was going to get back into Technic, that's a set I keep looking at.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep talking over you. I think it's because of the lag, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the lag. So obviously it wasn't the Alexas, but I've seriously got to get on and I try to talk to the ISP company or do something because, yeah, it's starting to really grate on me now. But certainly with when was the last time you sort of did a Technic?
Pass. When I was about probably 13. So a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, they've changed the system since then because it used to be more sort of bricks and pins, whereas now it's more beams and pins. And it is much more unforgiving. Like,
there's been one which I built, and I think even Tech was on the stream when I did it years ago. It was the big red crane, and even when I was building it, there's sort of like something doesn't feel right here, and I got all the way through and had done 3/4 of it, and one of the cogs actually wasn't in the set at all. So when you turned it on, the actual whole thing just spun around when it was meant to like turn normally. So I think it took me about 45 minutes to realize this cog was missing, an hour and a half to take it apart to get back to that cog, another hour and a half to rebuild it because you missed like a piece.
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of say those bigger Technics, they are very unforgiving these days. And when you're sort of talking earlier about, how many steps you got to go back, it's sort of like when you've had to do that on a big Technic set like that, having to go back a few steps on a system build is a walk in the park.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But,
I'd like to
And
give one a go,
Yeah, but Trevor, start with something small. It's not only that it eases you into Technic. I really like the small $10, €10 sets because you still can see how it all comes together. It's not that much at once that you build. Because one thing that I really, really feel sad about is when you build one of the big Technic sets, once it's finished, 80% of the Technic part, which is fascinating, you can't see anymore.
No, you're right. It's worth looking. Worth looking for them smaller sets.
And €10 is quite, even if you then realize, okay, it's not my thing, €10 is not that bad to spend on it.
yeah, no. Occasionally, at least Tesco used to. I haven't seen it for a while, but they'll have some of the mid-sized Technic sets, and when they put them on sale, they can be like 50% off, or even better. So you just sort of pick them up then. And I was raiding a lot of those things for Bricklink stores because, funnily enough, the Technic stuff sell quite well. Like even those, I was amazed. Like these little black friction pins that you always get in every set, and there's plenty of spares of them.
Right.
Which you get hundreds, and I have those on a Bricklink store, and people actually buy them in quantities. Like it's like they'll buy 200 or 300 of the things, and I'm just like, wow! Like for these things that you just have so many of that.
Right.
Admittedly, they're paying about 2 cents each or 2 pence each, but
right.
It's little weird things like that you think that nobody would actually ever buy or do anything with, and it's like, well, no, actually, people will.
Right.
Yeah. It is one of the most I've definitely bought tons of them. Just I'm like, I've got these somewhere, but like where, or like I could go and start pulling them out of sets, but I might get 10 or 15, 20 if I'm lucky, and then I'm like, but no, I need like quite a lot of them for like structural stuff. So they are like so useful. I'm surprised, despite their large quantity of availability, I'm surprised they're not more because of just how useful they are, and especially in like large quantities.
Yeah. I think it's just the thing, like usually most sets that you build of like a medium variety, like by the end of it, you've got a couple of spare, but like you say, Tech, if, we've always had like a drawer of Technics like stuff. So I think I've got about 4 or 5 like really big drawers of them. I probably should just put them all into a tub because there must be, I think on the store I had listed about 2,500 of the things.
Yeah.
And that's from never buying them. That's just either pulling sets of parts or leftovers or whatever. So, but, well, I think with that, we're starting to come up to like the 3-hour mark. So we might just have a quick wander around, see what how far they've gotten with their building or sorting, plug for anything you're doing, and might sort of
maybe call it a little bit of a night there. Just trying to see who looks the least less engrossed in what they're doing at the moment.
It's probably me. I've been like twiddling my thumbs for a little bit. But yeah, so I managed to tick off. I think I've ticked off all of the Bricklink orders that I've got, and it's all of the parts are accounted for. And so I've just started now organizing boxes of part. This isn't actually for the. Actually, some of this will be for Scarif because I will use tan and stuff. But I've not really got tons and tons of space here to like separate out my parts a lot. So I'm bagging each piece up by part type and then putting them in a box of color. It's probably not the best and most efficient storage way, but it's working for me for now. And then what I plan on doing is having like, when I've got like a very specific project that I want to work on, I'll have like a couple of drawers that are dedicated for pieces that I know that I've either got Bricklink orders for, so I'll put them straight in there because I'll know I want those pieces, or just parts that I think are going to be useful. So this is my one for Scarif. Currently, I've got tons of like blue. I've got like the trans blue tiles, like load of medium azure plate to go under the tile, and some dark, some regular blue stuff as well. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm getting there with the sorting thing. It's still a little bit of a mess, but I'm trying to make it work.
And you're obviously off to Brick World next year. Was it you last year who was doing some vlogs at the time, or very close after?
I did vlog it, but I never actually uploaded the video. I never got around to editing it. I haven't decided if I'm going to vlog it this year. So I'm not really sure. I would like to do another every Lego Star Wars mock from Chicago. So be on the lookout for that. I think Sam's got a really, really fun video planned as well. But yeah, so I leave on Wednesday, so I'm hopefully going to stream Tuesday night, do another Scarif build, mock build stream. I'm on London Calling tomorrow, and I'll be at Reading Brick Show this weekend. So if there's enough Lego Star Wars mocks there might be an every Lego Star Wars mock from Reading Brick Show.
Cool. Excellent. No, it's definitely look out for any of those bits of content that you have coming out with that lot, and hope that you enjoy Chicago. And I'm sure we'll get some Instagram photos or a few bits and pieces so we can all have FOMO and go, yes, we should go next year.
Has to go.
Cool. All right then, Nicole, how have you gotten on this evening, and what have you got coming up on your socials? Oh, it's a submarine.
Yeah. And it's gray, so it's Star Wars. Yeah.
Nice.
And I switched the sticker sheet, so now it's a mixed sheet. No one will notice. But other than that, which is kind of nice, I really look forward to the stand. Yeah, let's see how it works out. I hope that we will get with our Star Wars ships more stands as well. I love them.
Yeah,
in addition to that, I will be on Fab Blondie on Sunday. Not on her channel.
You probably would have got away with that one here, Nicole. But if you're on London Calling, there's definitely something to be said.
Tune in on Sunday to see live.
Is that how she's building up her subs these days? Okay then.
Well,
if it works.
Right.
Anyhow, I just think I'll segue straight out of that one. Trevor, how have you gotten on this evening, and what have you been? You've obviously had your plate part that you managed to dig out of there and put back in?
Yeah. Now, because I built that a fortnight ago on your stream, that was the McLaren GT Solus car, because it was a 2-pack. This evening, I built the McLaren LM F1.
Nice.
And it's a really, really cool build, this is. Again, Speed Champion's got some really cool building techniques to get all the angles and the slopes.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's on a pin. Oh. It's on a pin there. So as you put it on, it says, shouldn't do this live. As you put it on, you just get that slight angle.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
To the car.
Very cool. Yeah.
And obviously that was the brick where I went wrong, and you needed that. With the word McLaren. That's really nice.
Yes.
And then I built this last week whilst you're in America, Matt. This was on Bonnie Brick's stream. This was the new ice cream parlour.
Ice cream parlour. Yeah, nice.
That's good.
And I like the colour. And because my son said, well, we got the ice cream van, we got the slushy van. So tonight I also built the ice cream van. And I thought we could display them nicely together.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, this is a little cool build. You've got the little sliding door on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to do the slushy van as well. We'll quite a nice display piece.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I love the colours on these, where the ice cream's melting.
Yeah.
Down by the door.
Yeah. Very cool.
I'd like to put this on top of that.
On that.
I was gonna say, like, I would love for them to have had like the both be the same, so it felt like that it was matching. So yeah, it would be, even if you like slightly shrunk the cone on the shop into the onto the truck, that would be quite cool.
Maybe I could do my first ever mock.
There we go.
Make a little cone.
Make a cone for it. Because it's funny. I was thinking exactly the same thing that Tech was. It's sort of like if you just take that one off the top there and just sort of shrink down onto the other one, so it's roughly the same size. They really would fit together nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, it would do, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, in terms of the channel, I'm working on started it Monday on a new stop motion build. So working on that one. So that won't be a quick project, but I've done a little bit on that the other night. And if you haven't yet seen my vlog, which is flying, please do so. Please check it out and give us a like and subscribe if you like it. And I really appreciate everybody's support, because that video is just, I'm overwhelmed of how well it's done. So I appreciate all the comments, all the love that you're giving me. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
No, it's well deserved. It's the sort of thing where I think after a while you just, not so much throwing mud at a wall, but you just got to put in the miles, and eventually something for some reason gets picked up. And it's always a nice feeling when it's like, hey, actually there's more than 3 people who watch this video.
Yeah, no, it's nice. Right. And people, that comment, like I say, I had London Bridge Brits comment and text commented, and yourself. It's just nice that other people are watching your work as well. Really lovely.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent. Brilliant.
And word will get around, and then they will go back and watch the other videos too.
Yeah.
Well, tech keeps returning.
Absolutely. I'm so, like I said, your editing for one on the stop motion builds are fantastic, and I just really enjoy watching those. But then like the energy and stuff that you and your son brought to the vlog was also great. So that's why it's doing well, is because it's very fun to watch. You very much get like drawn into the hype. So yeah, like I said, I'd love to see more vlogs. It's not sustainable to do every release day vlogs, I appreciate. But if you can try to incorporate it somewhere, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely whatever you've hit on something there. So try to milk it, figure out what it is, and just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So long as you keep enjoying it, though. But
Yeah.
you know, so
Well, that's the main thing. You know, it was an enjoyable day. Wanted to do the vlog, upload it. Just wanted to see how it did. You know, it's blown me away on the views and the likes, etc. So that's even better. You know, I had no expectations on it, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I think they're the best ones because you enjoy doing them. You put them together, you upload them, you just see how they go.
Yeah,
Right.
it's always so nice when the videos you enjoy the most end up doing the best, because for so many times it's often the other way around. It's like the ones that you slog through and you're like, ugh, and then it does well, or you something that you produce like very quickly and throw it out there, or like take off, and you're like, but then I could spend weeks on another project and then that like completely flops. So
I mean, look at the Up House Tet. I spent over 3 months putting that together, and that's barely got 300 views.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, but I still enjoy doing them, and people appreciate them as well, you know.
Absolutely.
But if they go to the channel and maybe watch the vlog, then obviously they can have a look at other things and the way that people do and say, oh, I like stop motion, I'll give that a watch, you know, and that can improve your views as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much the same. I think one, as Tech was saying, there's a video which I did, and it was mainly because I had one of my kids' friends' parents was asking me how to like store some Lego stuff. So I quickly threw together a video because it's like, you know, how it's difficult to explain. Didn't pay attention to the sound. Like the sound is terrible. This, that, and the other, and it just took off. And every second comment, I'm like, what do you do? And then
I think you were like my ice cream van there. You're a bit.
I think correct. So yeah, just finishing up what I've got coming up on the channel. I'll do back
new internet provider next week.
Yeah, hopefully. I really need to work that out. Somebody else needs to take over hosting, I think. I mean, you guys do a good job without me anyhow. So. Yeah, so the next one, funnily enough, will be, I think it's 2013 most expensive educational sets, because that was the year that they released a lot of the Spike Prime stuff, which was really expensive. I just released a video on, in the background here, lights on the X-Wing. If you go and check that out, I've also put a link down in the description below. I've got a, it's currently on Amazon, slight discount, about 12%. And then there's also a code down in the description as well. If you put that in, I think they've said that that's going to work for a week. So they'll give you about another 10% off. So if you are interested, the light kit's normally about £37. With all the discounts, you can get it for about 29 or something, 28 maybe. So if you want to check that out, check the video out. And then there's another one which I'm hoping to get released next week. It's actually from another brand, and it hasn't even been released into the market yet. So I've really got to get onto that one. And then otherwise, back next Thursday again. And we will be less tech because you'll obviously be in Chicago enjoying all that sort of stuff. So it'll be great. And
can't we do a live link?
Got a little mini
link to it?
I can try hop on. I had big problems with my phone last year, and the Wi-Fi was atrocious. But I think I've sorted my phone out, so I might be able to hop on for a little bit anyway. Do a quick.
That would be so cool if you could give us a little bit of a snippet, you know, inside.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. Send me the link, Matt, and I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. No, that'd be brilliant if you can. If you can. We'll send you the link, and we'll go from there. So, I mean, that was the interesting thing with being in America. Sort of last week, you start to. You know, it's a 5-hour time difference, but you really start to appreciate what that actually means and where that fits in the middle of the day and stuff. So, by all means, I'll send you the link if you can. That'll be great. And if not, well, we hope you have a brilliant time.
there anything else anybody wants to quickly say before we get out of here? Oh, sorry, before share, like, subscribe, do all that sort of thing. I did have a poll running, which we didn't really pay that much attention to. I'm just see if I can close it off, or where is it here? Had you used a light kit? I think
I've used a couple now.
my thing's trying
Not
to catch
many,
up
but a few.
here. I'll get to it.
I've seen a really brilliant light kit for the lighthouse, but I
Still
just can't be bothered to take it all apart. Because I
Mm.
think it's going to be a lot of work. It looks really cool, but I know how much work went into building it. I just don't want to take it all apart again.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You take it apart, yeah. I'm still trying to see this poll. Can anyone see the poll? I know I've ended it, but it was a yes/no one.
Yes. 65% voted no, and
Yes,
34%.
professional. And 1% decided to do nothing. Okay, cool. That gets it there. So before we get out of here, anybody else, anything else they wanted to sort of finish up and say, plug?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's fine. Yeah, get me another 1,000 on the vlog. I'd really appreciate it.
Brilliant. And with that in mind, we will see you all again next week. Thanks for stopping by and have a good one. Bye.
Mesta brygga, det blir superduper!
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.